Welcome, everyone, to Thrive in 2025. Let us know right now in the chat where you are tuning in from in the world. We want to celebrate you. Hello from Toronto. We have Germany. We have New York. We have Destin, Florida. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome, each and every one of you. It is such an incredible time we're going to have here for these next 3 days. This is beyond exciting, and we're so happy to have you here with us. We want to first welcome you to this extraordinary experience on behalf of Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins. You are here for you are here for 3 powerful days of transforming your future. So if you are ready, write ready in the chat right now. Ready, yes. My name is Renee Marino, and I'm so honored and thrilled to be your host for these next 3 days because I have been where so many of you are right now. Over 5 years ago, I was in a time of uncertainty and transition, but with a deep knowing I was meant for more, just like so many of you here. That's when I attended an event just like this one, and my life was changed in the most beautiful ways. I'll be with you at the start of every day, and my job is to make sure you have an amazing experience. So over the next 3 days, you're going to be introduced to a new game plan for thriving in business. Between Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi, the two of them combined have over 76 years of experience, which is mind-blowing. Yeah, right? How incredible is that? They are single-handedly leading this massive shift in the way business is being done. So whether you're someone who is desiring to start a business, but you don't know where to begin, if that's you, write me in the chat. Or maybe you're just starting out on this journey of entrepreneurship. If that's you, write yes. We have me's. We have yes. Or you're just looking for the next big breakthrough. If that's the case, write ready. Oh, we have so many different categories of people, and no matter where you may be on your journey, Dean and Tony are about to blow your mind and heart over these next 3 days. And this may be the most important event you've ever attended in your life. Now, my role here is to give you some tips to get the most out of this whole experience. So can I give you some tips? Write yes if that's cool in the chat. Thanks, guys. Number 1, dedicate the time. You're already here, but showing up doesn't guarantee you'll get the most out of it. You may be thinking, oh, you can pop in and out of this event and do other things at the same time, but to miss a little is to miss a lot. Each day builds on the day prior, so you get the accumulation effect. And trust me, you do not want to miss Tony Robbins or any amazing guests like, I don't know, Matthew McConaughey, Jay Shetty and his beautiful wife, Roddy, Gary Brecka, Jillian Turecki. What? Plus, we are giving away prizes all throughout. So it's not too late to clear your schedule. If you still have that phone call or that meeting that's in the middle of one of these days, trust me, reschedule it because you don't want to miss 1 second of what Dean and Tony have created for you. If you're committed to go all in, write all in the chat. Yes, thank you. This is what we want to do. Be involved in this chat. Number 2, fully engage with the experience. This may be your first time in an event like this. So, as I said, you want to interact as much as possible to connect with Dean and Tony and the speakers. Utilize that chat box, like I was saying. And if you're in VIP, turn those cameras on. And remember, your camera's on. So be aware of that. And final tip, bring that good, high energy because energy is a habit. The state your energy is in is the state you'll receive this information in. So sit up with excitement, think heart open. Yes, beautiful. I see you, VIP. Smile and get yourself ready to thrive. So if you're up to be in a beautiful, energetic, positive state for the next 3 days, throw those hands up. I want to see it. Beautiful. All right, it's time to begin this beautiful journey. Before I bring him to the stage, I want to share this quick video to introduce the man who is going to lead you these next few days. None other than the incredible Dean Graziosi.
Today we're in the company of a phenomenal success story. Dean Graziosi is a multi-millionaire.
Your ability and desire to influence so many people in such unanimously positive ways is truly inspiring.
You don't have a heart-centered reason on why the hell you want it. It's why everybody gives up on the 5-yard line.
It's entrepreneurs like Dean that are helping make the world a better place.
He is a source of just incredible information.
1 million books sold total.
Living legend.
Hundreds of millions of dollars in sales.
His takeaways have been inspiring so many people.
It's reaching millions of people
One of the
online.
biggest names in the history of this segment.
When I first met Dean, I just got to know his heart and his soul, and it's like, felt like my brother.
I did so many lives.
Sometimes it takes someone seeing in you what you don't even see in yourself. The man changed my life.
Thank you, Dean.
Thank you, Dean.
Thank you so much, Dean.
I really do appreciate it.
Give it up for my partner, dear friend, Dean Graziosi, everybody. Give it up for him.
Hey guys, welcome to Thrive in 2025. What's up, Wendy Rogers? I see you, Amber. What's going, Jane Foster? Matthew Jones, what's going on, man? Hey, Derek Harris, Vincent, Vasco, Tom, Robbie, rocking it out since the beginning. Denise, Teresa, hey everybody. So good to see you guys. So good to have you here for Thrive in 2025. The next 3 days are going to be something really special. Like Renee said, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome, welcome. If you're part of the family, good to have you back. Listen, before we get started here, I truly believe there's never been a better time in history than right now to be here. So can we do something? I know Renee said it, but I got to say it too. Could we shake off the craziness? Like, it's a little crazy out there. Can't we agree on that? Can we take a deep breath? And here's what I want you to think about. Could we be bold enough to be optimistic again for the next couple of days? Can we be bold enough to see a bigger future, that our past doesn't dictate where we're going, that we can have opportunity, not obstacles? Who's ready to be optimistic again for a couple of days? And then we get that to stick, because I think you're about to realize that this may be the greatest time in history for you to live into your full potential. Might sound a little counterintuitive to what you hear in the news. And we plan on sharing that with you. You know, this is really cool for me. 7 years ago, we sat right here. My dear friend Tony Robbins and I, my partner, who will be here live here soon, we sat right here to kick this off at our very first virtual event. And that was forced by COVID, but now it's become a movement. And we have the opportunity. We're in over 100 countries right now. I know there's people up in the middle of the night. What's up? But that event 7 years ago sparked a movement bigger than we ever could have imagined. Since then, we've touched the lives of over 6.3 million people. And we kicked that event off with one simple, but I think very powerful question that on this 7-year anniversary, I'd like to ask again. At the end of a long life, if you had to choose between impacting others or achieving incredible success for yourself, what would you choose? Put it in the chat. Impact or success? I know the answer because I know this group of humans. Right? Look at that. Impact, 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 right? And the answer is, why choose when you can have both? Tony Robbins said that 7 years ago, and it rings more true today than ever. And what you're soon going to learn is, if you don't already know it, is that your life experience may be the greatest asset you own. And when you understand its value and how it can create impact for others, purpose for yourself, and build a real business with no glass ceiling, you'll see why you're in the right place at the right time. But first, I got to say this. Nice job for being here. You know, most people talk a big game. You guys probably have some friends that talk a big game, but they don't actually follow through. They don't actually show up. You did. That means we're kindred spirits. Wherever you are in the world, and I want to say this, whatever you had to do to be here, whatever you had to rearrange, some of you work, some of you family, some of you obligations, you made an amazing decision. I don't think it could come at a better time. I think we can all agree with AI, advanced technologies, new policies, shifting economy, the world is changing faster than ever before. Can we all agree the world's going pretty darn fast right now? And I think we're entering an era, it's why I respect you so much for being here today, where you'll either get the new plan to thrive in this new world, or you'll get left behind. What's really cool is we have over, right now at this very moment, 720,000 people registered for this event. So freaking cool. All from different backgrounds, all over the world. And Renee said this, but I want to share it too, is some of you might just stop by, might have just stopped by because you're intrigued, you're just checking this out. Great, you're in the right spot. Stick with us, see what's possible. Others, you're 100% ready to start your own thing. Wonderful, welcome. Put it in the chat if that's me, or raise your hand if you're just checking it out, or you know it's time. And some of you, you already have your own business, but you're ready to scale. Perfect. To each of you, I say this, welcome. You're in the right spot. And even though we have different backgrounds, come from different countries, different goals, we have more in common than you may realize if you're here at an event like this. Renee teased it, but I really want to anchor it in. The thing we have in common is that we all know we are meant for more. Whether that's more impact, more freedom, more choice, more time, more creativity, more joy, more income. You know you're meant for more. Raise your hand if you know you're meant for more. If there's something else to be unlocked, ready to go, right? And that immediately bonds us, because the truth is, and I want you to hear this before we really get into this, you are enough. You know enough. This time can be different. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to get started. And with the right plan and the right action, you can achieve whatever that more is. When I was saying whatever more means to you, you can achieve that in your life. Now, the reason Tony and I feel so certain that you can achieve this is because, well, it's what we've done for a combined 75 years. This one decision, this one path, this one industry has not only transformed our lives, but it's the same one that's helped tens of thousands of everyday people live into a life they knew they deserved. And that industry, that one industry, is the knowledge industry. Now, if you're in this, you already know it's limitless possibilities. You're in the right spot. But like most of you, if you're new, you might be thinking, I've heard of it, not sure what it is. Could it be for me? Is this the right time? Do I have what it takes? Here's what I want to tell you. The answer is yes. Give us a couple days, and we'll not only clear up what this is, we'll show you why it's for you. Listen, at a high level, the knowledge industry is the business of extracting your skills or a life experience or a passion and packaging it and turning it into a product that helps others learn, grow, and succeed faster. Again, the industry we've been in, Tony and I, for over 70 years. Let me give you a quick example. Meet Peg, if you could pull this up, right? Peg's somebody, she's making sales right now, and I think she's the perfect example. After a painful divorce, Peg felt like she lost who she was. She didn't even know who she was. But through her own trial and error, Peg rediscovered herself. She rebuilt her life into something magical. And then once she attended an event like this, she realized, wow, that experience could help other people get through it faster, and it can turn into a business. Fast forward, Peg's created a coaching program. She helps dozens of women go through and thrive after a tough breakup. You know, it's still, you know what? I'm going to go over the whiteboard. Can you follow me over? This is for those that are new, which is about 48% of you on the way in, those of you who took the survey. Thank you. So this is for you. I'd like to explain the knowledge industry like a maze. This is life, right? If you think of Peg, right? Peg went through a divorce. And as soon as the divorce started, God, it was tough. She's trying to navigate, and she's trying to think, this is tough. I got to find, maybe I'll try yoga. No, that's not working. Maybe I'll talk to my friends. No, that's not working. Oh, you know what? Let me try, right? You think about you're trying all this stuff. I'm trying meditation. No, that's not it. Maybe I should try some Xanax. No, I don't take medicine. That's not good. Oh my God, I just can sit by myself. No, I need to be with other people. And life gets you all these things, then all of a sudden you figure it out and you're on the other side, right? So what does Peg do? She went through this experience. She had to make the mistakes. She felt lost. She didn't know who she was. But then she discovered the things that empowered her. And now, if you come over to this one, if you could zoom out a little bit, she knows how to leave breadcrumbs. Not because she's an expert, she's sharing her experience, so now she could say, hey, I did all that. Follow the breadcrumbs, and you can get to the end result faster. Now, I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but that's why this industry, leave it on both, please. That's why this industry is growing so much, because if you're one chapter ahead in sales, in something you're passionate about, in doing yoga, in going vegan, or 1,000 other things, you've gone through this crazy maze, and people are cutting checks to go faster because you've already been there. Making sense? Raise your hand if that's starting to make sense if you're new. Because if you think about it, people are already the most ever been in history. They're hiring coaches. They're buying courses. They're going to workshops. They're hiring consultants. They're joining communities. And most importantly, why you're here, it's such a perfect time. It's not from experts. It's from everyday people with real life experiences like you. And again, if this is new and you're like, I'm not quite sure, kind of just stop by. I promise we'll make it crystal clear here in just minutes. See, you might be thinking a business like this takes years, that you need a huge audience or a big budget or a big team. And I don't blame you for thinking that. That's what most businesses need, but not this one. You're closer than you think because you already have the most valuable asset. You have your story. You have your experience. You have your perspective. So I got to share, what makes this industry so cool? I use the word cool because when I started almost 30 years ago, it wasn't cool. If you went to dinner with 6 people and said, hey, you know, I just got a coach, people look at you and go, are you on a soccer team? Vasco, I see you laughing, right? Are you on a soccer team? You play baseball, right? Like, what do you mean you have a coach? Now you go to dinner with 6 people and somebody's like, oh, I got a coach to get our relationship back. Oh, I got a life coach. I got a health coach. Oh, I bought this course. Oh, I'm going to this retreat. Oh, I'm a part of this mastermind membership, right? Think about it. This is the new cool thing. In fact, this industry is at $1 billion a day, heading towards $1 trillion a year by 2028. This industry is exponentially growing because it lets you monetize what you already know. You paid for this product. It's in your brain. You have no product cost. You have no warehouse cost. It's inflation proof. It's tariff proof. And it's beyond valuable once you know how to recognize it. It's the perfect startup or an add-on to a business. Plus breakthroughs in technology, which you're going to see today alone, are going to show you why now is the perfect time because it's so much easier. And you could start fast. It's low cost, high net profit because you don't have to pay for it. It's what makes this industry so amazing and so cool right now. So, whether you want to evolve past the passionless 9-to-5 or start that side hustle finally that could lead to something full-time, Tony and I believe that in one way, shape, or form, you need to be a part of our industry, this industry, the knowledge industry. Now, I'm going to disclaim this and say this is not an overnight get rich for doing nothing. I think there's plenty of those online. Can we agree? The money machines or the, hey, you could do this overnight. If you know anything about Tony and I, that's not us. What we're going to show you is a proven plan. But do you have to take action? Raise your hand if you got to take action. Raise your hand even if you have resources. You know you got to be resourceful, right? That's exactly what we're going to share. And I know some of you might be thinking, starting to sound great. I get it, but I'm not sure I have anything valuable. Well, I got to share something real quick that I've done for years. If this was a magic wand, and I'd love for you to pick. Let's light up the chat. That's how we can communicate. I see YouTube chat. I see Zoom chat. I get to see so many beautiful faces. But if this was a magic wand, and I said to you, hey, I could put $100,000 in your bank account by just going shwing. Or, do you like that little swing? Anyway, $100,000 in your bank account for doing this. Or I could wave it, swing, and I could send you back to spend a week with your 20-year-old self. And you can go back and talk about business, about life, about college, about relationships, about the things that you shouldn't worry about. If you had to choose, would you go back or take the $100,000? Right? Put it in the chat. That's how we communicate, right? I hardly, less than 0.5% say 100,000. I haven't seen one person just said, take the money. Look at all the go back. So I share that to show you how valuable your life experience is because there's someone starting off where you once were. True? Raise your hand if that's true, right? And I know you might be thinking, I don't have a following. Maybe there's too much competition. Am I too old, too young? Is it too late? Technology overwhelms me. I've tried things before in the past. I'm stressed on time. I get it. Let's be clear. You don't need a following. You're not too late. This is perfect timing. You don't need to master tech. It's changed, and we have simplicity on the other side of complexity. And over the next 3 days, we will overcome all of those and show you why you are ready for this and why now. And if it's cool with you, I'd like to take a minute and just share why I know you can do this. You know, I was a C student at best. Yeah, at best. I probably was voted least likely to succeed in high school. But I never went to college because I struggled with dyslexia really bad. I also grew up watching my single mom work 3 jobs to make about $90 a week. And we lived in the only trailer park in this little town in upstate New York. And not poor me. I love the opportunity. I wouldn't change one thing about my past, but that's true. So if you're thinking, I'm not sure I'm qualified to do this, you're most likely already way ahead of where I was. And the truth is, it all started with a course I bought from my dear friend and partner, Tony Robbins. I didn't know him at that time. I didn't know who he was. But 28 years ago, I saw this big guy on TV, and I felt like he was talking to me. He was showing me a path on these dreams that I had. Maybe some of you have bought that course off of Tony Robbins, and it just hit me in so many ways. A couple ways it hit me. Personal power was. Oh, there's a picture of it. Yeah. It hit me in a few ways. Because I didn't buy a product. I bought opportunity. I bought possibility. And that was the best $300 investment of life. And I learned things like life happened for me, not to me. I could change my story. I could change my life. All those things that now are popular, Tony Robbins taught me. But the number one thing I took from it, I was like, wait, I paid for knowledge that he learned from Jim Rohn and other teachers, and it changed my life. Heck, I want to do that. I want to do it for someone else. At that time, I had a collision shop. I had a car dealership. I had apartments. I was doing pretty darn well from where I started. I started with nothing. I was doing pretty darn well. So I decided to take my experience and help others go faster. And I went all in on trying to make this a business, right? Let's keep it real. I didn't have any support. I was going to say, who's support? I didn't have any support. My friends thought I was nuts. My family thought I was crazy. My sister drove 8 hours to sit me down like an intervention to say, Dean, you're not Tony Robbins. You don't have education. This isn't going to work. Start being real. And the fact of the matter is, she wasn't wrong. I never did anything like this before. I was a bit of an introvert. And back then, the only way to do this was to create an expensive infomercial, put product in the warehouse, have media, buy TV media, and all that stuff. But we said this earlier. I had that nagging voice inside of me that just knew I was meant for more. And I saw this, right? We agreed. Who's got that voice, right? We know we're meant for more. Now, I had no idea what I was doing, but I packaged what I knew around cars, and I launched my first course. In fact, it's still here. I still have it. It's hard to show because I look so darn young. But this is what I produced in the 90s and shared this with everybody. It was crazy, and I was scared, and I was like, who the heck's going to buy from me? But then it happened. I made my first sale. I'll never forget it. That moment changed everything, not because it was a sale. It was proof that my life experience was valuable, proof that I didn't need to be perfect. I just needed to be real. Then once I started seeing success with that, I said, hey, I'll take my experience with real estate and help people get in their first real estate deal. I ended up creating a course, and we launched it, and it ended up being the world's #1 knowledge product on real estate. How freaking crazy is that? From that crazy infomercial I bought off of Tony. And now we get to be here with you to pull back the curtain and show you what we've done, because not only is it cooler and bigger, it's way easier to start and way more in demand. I'm going to end here, but I just want to tell you, fast forward to today, my courses and trainings have created passive income for me and my family for over 30 years. My brands have done over $1 billion in sales. I don't say that to brag. I say it because most importantly, it's allowed me to live into the man I wanted to be, to contribute, to have freedom, to have more purpose. I get to care for my family, feel secure no matter what happens around me in this crazy world. I get to be the dad and the husband I know my parents wish they could have been. I got to live into my creative self. I get to partner with Tony Robbins, for gosh sakes. How freaking cool is that? Also, we've been able to do some fun things, provide millions of meals through Feeding America, donate to help kids find freedom from slavery. We built multiple schools in Africa. We helped Phoenix Children's Hospital. We get to do cool things. And like I said earlier, I don't say this to brag. I share it to show you what's possible, no matter where you're starting. Yeah, I am blessed, and I feel it. And I just want to share this with you. I didn't tell my stories because it's not about me. This is about you. I'm sharing through a lens, and why Tony and I get so darn excited to put these events on for you, because we didn't start with confidence. He started with Jim Rohn. I'll share that in a minute. I started without confidence, but I started with commitment. And I didn't sell my expertise. I just sold my personal experience, which you all have. And over the next few days, I promise you, you're going to see how you can do the same thing with our proven plan and guidance, even if you can't see it yet, and even if no one knows your name. Because right now, there's somebody out there waiting for you to share your story. And you have the ability to shorten their path. That's what the knowledge industry is all about. You know, when I think back why we're so passionate, people always ask us, why are you guys are getting older? Why are you working so hard, working harder than ever before? Why would we put on an event like this? It takes a lot to pull off almost 800,000 people registered for an event like this. Why? Because I think you just saw what this industry did for my life. It saved me. And Tony going to a Jim Rohn event when he was 17 with his last dollar saved him. You see, we know what it's like to look in the mirror and think to yourself, I know I'm meant for more. And then we found something that actually allowed us to achieve it. So 8 years ago, Tony and I were on a golf course. I golf twice a year. That's the actual picture. And on that golf course, we said, if we were going to start a business together, what would it be? And we said, we have to show the world what we've done. We have to give them the ability to do what we do because it's not just for us anymore. It's for all of you. And like a favorite movie or a favorite meal, don't you love sharing something that changes your life so well? So that's why we're here. That's why we're so excited to share this with you. And I have to say this, before we get into the first training that I can't wait to share with you, first deep lesson. I hope you're ready to do some work. If you've tried and failed, or if you felt too afraid to begin at all, it doesn't mean you're a failure. It probably means you were just lacking the right plan. So Tony and I set out to create a blueprint to make sure you don't get stuck or lost ever again. Personally, I wanted to create something I wish my mom had. When my parents split when I was 3, my mom just went to work, like we said before, took 3 jobs. But my mom, excuse my language, my mom was a badass. She just didn't have a blueprint. And I like to say that's what so many of us here, who would say you're a badass, and if you had a blueprint, you could kick some butt? Raise your hand or say yes if that's true, right? So Tony and I set out to create something new, a new business philosophy where people aren't left behind. And we're calling it the Guided Business Development Philosophy. And this is for those badasses needing the blueprint. Because let's just think about it. These 3 things make up the Guided Business Development. You need the right guide. You need a plan. And you need the tools. Think about if you were going to climb a mountain. Would you want to climb a big mountain without a guide or without a Sherpa? Right? Don't you want somebody who's already been up the mountain a few times? Right? I see you, Yvonne, right? And as you're going, you want the guide to have a plan and go, no, we make a left here, we make a right here, this is where we should sleep. And you also want the picks and shovels and the tools to get up there. And if you didn't have all these 3 in a prior time that you started something, don't blame yourself. You were just missing all the ingredients for success. Now, I'm going to make you a bold promise before we get into this first piece of work here. In the next 3 days, we're going to give you the exact process to identify the life experience you have that's valuable, then how to package it, deliver it, and get people to say yes with a smile, how to make it a real business, one with purpose, which has a byproduct of more owning your time, your choices, by capitalizing on this incredible industry. Now, you have our commitment. Tony will be here in a little bit, our amazing guests, our amazing team. I just want to ask you one more time, do I have your commitment? I'm going all in. Are you guys in? Put all in the chat. You're not going to want to miss 1 second of this, and I'm just warming up. You guys are so awesome. All in. Kimber, I see you. Sarah, Brett, Michelle, Renee, Lucy, Denise, Patricia, Patrick, Michelle, Michael, Lucy. I see all. Veronica, what's going on? I see you. Dan. I see you. Dan, what's going on? Love the beard. Bobby's dancing it out. I see you. I see you. Jim, if you're driving, be careful, man. I see you, Jim, down there. Right? Okay, so let's get to work. You guys ready to do a little work? Today, we're going to share 3 powerful lessons. First, how to extract what knowledge you should be sharing. If you could pull up that slide, that'd be great. Next, how to identify who wants it and needs it and what you have to offer. And last, discover how you're going to deliver it. Who's ready to do a little work? I asked that, but I want another commitment. You ready to do a little work? Okay, how to extract what knowledge? I'm going to go over here to the whiteboard. Can you guys follow me over? Sorry, I know slides might be easier, but I'm old school, and I like whiteboards. So, let's talk about the knowledge that you can share, right? This is the asset. So I don't want to oversimplify it, but I don't want you to overcomplicate it because we got a couple different choices here. The first knowledge you could share is something that you've developed during your career or the business that you own. Does that make sense? So my team is cool with drawing. They draw some cool things, use it better than a slide. I like this. So a career or business skill. Maybe you know how to teach people to grow their real estate business, become the best makeup artist, manage your finances, maybe good at leadership. Maybe you're good at human resources or accounting or project management. You are a chapter ahead, a year ahead, 5 years ahead of somebody just starting out. You can collapse time for them, right? So one of the options is, do you want to share a career or a business skill? Let's just call that number one, right? Number one is a career or a business skill. Number two is a life experience. Before we get to life experience, I want to share one more thing. In a career or a business skill, I want to give you some examples. Can you bring this slide up? Think of Nilsa, right? She's been in accounting, or she was in accounting for 20 years. She finally left her accounting job, created her own job, and it went magical. So now Nilsa, and everybody you see is making sales, or we wouldn't have them here. Not saying they got rich for doing nothing, but they're making sales. This is their business now. Nilsa helps other accountants that want to start their own business. Chris is in acupuncture, had a brick and mortar business, decided during COVID, working with us, now he certifies other people for chiropractic, or for acupuncture. How cool is that? He turned it into a business. He's sharing his business skill. Annie, she started a home-based cooking business. It went so good. She cooked from home, did well. Now she teaches other moms how to start home-based cooking businesses, right? They just experienced it, and now they share it. Okay, let's go to number two. Sorry about that. Number two is life experiences. Think about life experiences. You've gone through them. Some of them is a mess that can become your message. Peg, she went through a divorce. It was tough. She figured out the solution. Now she's crushing it and helping others. Some people have gone through trauma. Some people weight loss. Some people finding love, how to lose weight, how to raise kids, survive after divorce, like we wrote, thrive through menopause. We have women doing amazing, teaching people how to get through something they've already done. So let's call this number two. Number two is you could share a life experience. Now remember, number one, career. Number two, life. And let's talk about, pull this up. Michael, he's done videos for 30 years. And he realized how good he got at video and how everybody complimented him. And he's like, all right, now he teaches other people how to be better on video. Alex, she's helping parents of neurodiverse children. She had her own rough start in life. Then she had 2 children with that neurodiverse issues. And she found a way to not only help them, but now she helps other moms and other parents thrive and show them that this is actually a gift. It's such a magical thing. And she's turned it into a business. Jacob, well, he had tough time communicating with his kids. When he realized he was separated with them, he went all in to find a way to communicate, especially with his teenagers. Now he helps other men communicate with their kids. These are all life experiences turned into an asset and turned into a real business. Are you guys starting to think? If you got any that you're thinking about, put them in the chat at any time, right? And the last one, let's go to the last one here, is a passion. Some of you have a deep passion. Maybe it's art. Maybe it's fly fishing. Maybe it's traveling. Maybe it's gardening, shopping on a budget. These are all things that people are doing that they're passionate about. They realize other people are starting off on day one, and I can help them go faster. You collapse time. Is it making sense? You look at these 3. VJ, he lives here in Arizona, I was just told. And he got so into taking pictures of the beautiful Arizona sunsets. They got really good at it. Now he teaches other people how to do it. So not only does he take the pictures, he does it. Bambi, I had the chance to meet once. She knows how to interpret your dreams. She used to do it one-on-one. Now she's teaching people all over the world how to interpret their dreams. I don't know if I want interpretation of all my dreams, but that'd be cool. Tina, she started with cheese making. She was so passionate about it. Now she teaches others how to cook at home, how to be like a professional in your kitchen making cheese. It's amazing that they've taken their passions and turned them into a business. Now, I got to ask you, put in the chat a number 1. If you just had to pick, this doesn't have to be your final answer. But if you had to pick today, would you do a A career skill, something you learned in your business or your career? Would you do a life experience, maybe a mess that you could share your message so people would go faster? Or would you share a passion? Look at this, 2, 2, 2, 1, 3, 1 and 3. Career. Number 2, life experience, all of them. Eventually, you end up doing all of them. Amazing. Look at this. 2, 3, 3. Right? See, we have this asset, and we're just blowing the dust off it a little bit, getting started here for you to see it, right? Now that you have an idea, now I'm going to go quick. You guys, can I have permission to go quick? I have a lot I want to cover today. Did that one make sense to you guys? Was the drawing okay? Better than a slide? I kind of like the whiteboard. I hope that landed for you. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. Right? Now that you have an idea where your knowledge could come from, let's narrow down who you're going to share it with. Let's go back over to the whiteboard. Lesson number 2 is identify, you can pull this up, identify who wants and needs what you'll have to offer. And I'm going to give you a little secret. Less is more. Smaller is better. Let's talk about that. Smaller is better is because I don't have my phone here, but if this is my phone, we are connected to so many people around the world. We don't have to go wide. When we go narrow, we actually find the people that need us, and we have the confidence to talk to them. For example, Annie, right? If we said, hey, there's 7 billion people heading towards 8 billion, right? So there's 7 billion people in the world, and Annie is going to help start a home-based cooking business. It's like, oh, I don't know if I can help 7 million people. No, Annie might start out here, could be because she likes helping moms start a home-based business, right? So moms, that's still, billions of women. That's not narrowing it down. But what about moms that want to start a biz? Oh, that gets smaller. But no, we want to go even smaller. It's moms that want to start a biz in cooking at home. Does that make sense? Now, if Annie was going to talk to every mom, be like, oh, that's a little scary. Moms that want to start a business, what if they want to start a real estate business? But when you narrow it down that moms that want to start a cooking business at home, Annie could pull on the Superman cape and say, I could talk to her. I could shift her life. Is that making sense? So smaller is better. And the cool part is not when I started almost 30 years ago. Now we're currently connected to everybody, and we can find our ideal person. Think of this one, alternative health option. Let's talk about becoming a certified acupuncturist, right? That Chris teaches, right? That's, if we started with, again, 7 billion people on the outside and say, alternative way to be healthy. That's still a lot of people. Using acupuncture as a tool, that gets smaller. But what Chris does, he helps people become certified at acupuncture and to make it a business. It's what I like to call his dot. And he just needs to focus on that group of humans. Making sense? And your confidence, Chris can teach that because he's been doing it forever, right? And lastly, right, if you wanted to, I think it was Jacob. I think it was Jacob. He was helping improve communications with children, right? Because he went through it, found a great way, and now he coaches others to do it. If he was just looking for men, right? That's too big. Men that want to improve their communication, that's probably out here. But men that want to improve their communication with their children, preferably their teens, that's a little dot. And tomorrow you're going to see exactly how to go find that dot. Making sense? Richard, you getting this? James, you getting this? Gabrielle, you're getting it? Put in the chat if you're getting it. I know I'm going quick. I hope you're following along. Okay, you up for one more little challenge? Let's take a few minutes and create what we call a solution statement. Now, again, I know I'm going fast, but you came to learn. And if you're feeling a little uncomfortable, unsure, good, congratulations for being here. Because if you were completely happy with where you were, you'd be there, not here. Make sense? Sometimes to get from where we are to where we want to be is we got to take the uncomfortable action with something new. And that's where we're at. So a solution statement is just a great starting point. But if you could bring this up, it'd be great. And this is, I help blank with blank. I help blank with blank, right? So we went through some, right? I help women with starting their own home-based business in cooking, right? I help photographers with starting a home-based wedding photography business, right? So I would love for you guys, and I'll talk you through it. We'll keep talking about it. But write it down. You got a piece of paper right now in front of you? I hope you do. Glenn, I know you're in the car, but then type it in your phone if you need to. I see you, Glenn. I see you, right? Who do you help with? And then type it in the chat. I get to see YouTube chat. I get to see Zoom chat. I help women 40 to 55 with thriving through menopause. I'm just giving you examples of our students. I help adults looking to be healthier with going vegan with ease. Oh, here we come. Here we go. I help students with supply chain. I help investors understand stocks. Beautiful, Jennifer, so on point. I help elderly with home aid. I help people earning money through investing. I help, oh my God, this is so good, and they're coming in so fast. I help women reclaim their lives after burnout. Zara, right on point. I help let's sound fast. Help businesses adapt AI. Oh my God, that's gonna crush it. I help women realtors. I help families thrive. Oh my God, I help seniors find their next steps. I help dads recover after divorce. Oh, you guys get this. You guys get this. And how cool is it that you get to help somebody, help solve a problem? That's why we call it a solution statement. You know, keep writing. This is fantastic. It's called a solution statement for a reason, because we get to help somebody through something that we've already experienced, and we can get paid to do it and actually impact their lives. Remember I said in the beginning, who'd like impact and success? This is one of the rare things. I think you get both. These are amazing, by the way. And thank you in the YouTube channel, in the Zoom channel. Amazing. Keep writing them down. And remember, this could change. Don't try to make it perfect. Let's just talk about progress, okay? Especially today, going quick. You guys up for progress over perfection? Say yes if you're up for progress over perfection. Dan, you're so positive today, man. Love having you. Clint, rocking it out. I see you, Rhiannon. I see you, everybody. Okay, nice work. Lesson number 3. How you're going to deliver it. How are you going to deliver it? Let's think about that. So if we think about, here's where the knowledge is going to come from, right? It's a career skill. It's a personal experience. Oh, it's that passion I love. And then say, oh, I'm not trying to go after 7 billion people. I just want people in that little niche, right? All these, I want to go after leaders to help create their, revamp their nervous system. I help myself, right? Like think of, you're narrowing it down. Now, how would you like to deliver it that fits your personality? Let's go back over to the whiteboard. Okay, number 1 is a course. Now, when you think of a course, I think courses have made such an impact on my life because it was Tony Robbins' course I bought almost 30 years ago that shifted my life. I bought Personal Power. I am not too humble to say I would not be the man I am. I wouldn't be the human I am. I wouldn't have the success I have if I didn't pull the trigger and buy that course. So courses are huge to me. But you have to find the one that just resonates with you. And let's just go with the one that feels good today. What's cool about courses is you could pre-record it, right? So you can do it once and sell it over and over again, right? Another one is courses are cool now. Courses 30 years ago, it's like, what'd you buy? Now it's like, hey, did you get a course on that? A course to me is like a book that comes to life, right? Interactive and training, right? Another great thing about a course, it's lower price. So it's a great entry point for people to go, hey, that's awesome. I can afford that, right? We have so many great people doing this. If you think about it, we got Daniel. He started a YouTube channel and was getting a little traction, but he knows how to garden sustainably from home, and then just decided, I'm going to build a course to show other people how to do it. Now he's in business. Joanna, I just read her thing this morning. She's been in law for 20 years, and she realized people would call for the simplest questions, and the law firm would charge them so much, right? I don't know, $200 an hour, $300 an hour. And she's like, what if I built a course that had some of the most common asked questions so somebody could pay for it once and have access to it all over? Boom, she started selling courses. Crystal, I had the chance to talk to Crystal about 3 years ago. She was in an event just like this. We're going to do some great hot seats over the next couple of days. Crystal was in the nonprofit industry, helping people create them. And then one day she said, hey, I'm just going to start my own business to help everybody that wants to start a nonprofit because I know how to do it. Boom, she had a business. So that's number 1 is a course, right? Number 2, some of you might like coaching. Here's a secret. The foundation of all of it's the same. It's just the delivery system that aligns with your soul. Now, I know we're going quick, and you may never have thought about this before. Courses, coaching, oh my God. Trust me, right? What's cool about coaching is you get to go really fast. You don't have to pre-record anything. And you could see results firsthand, one-on-one. You could do your first 2 coaching sessions for free just so you could get a feel. And I promise you, people aren't looking for you to be the expert or have the initials after your name. They're just looking for you to share the experience you had so they can go faster. Does that make sense? You got to understand, people are paying for speed. And here's the cool part. Everybody nowadays wants or needs a coach. And you charge a little bit more on coaching. Right? So if you think of, let's pull this up. We got Brenda. She helps millennial real estate investors, right? She's been investing for years. She learned so much. Now she helps millennials do it quicker, faster. She condenses time for them. James is an executive coach. He was an executive. He knew what people needed, took his knowledge that he learned, and now he's an executive coach crushing it. And Isabel, well, she helps people with memory issues over 45. She coaches them. I'm going to need a little bit of that too lately. Sometimes I forget. Right? How cool is it? They've taken these life experiences and these skills and turned it into something that aligned with them. And then the last one, and it's kind of the namesake of our company. We like to think of the last one as masterminds. I'll put an S here. Masterminds to me, that could be a group. It could be a community. It could be a workshop. It could be a monthly Zoom. Masterminds are the collective of the similar people all looking for this a better outcome. Right? It must be the company Tony and I co-founded is called Mastermind because we believe all of this is masterminds. It's the come together of minds so we can share wisdom and capabilities so we can all get smarter. So some of you might want to do people live in person as a retreat. Some of you might want to do a monthly Zoom call. People are craving connection and community. It's why communities are growing so fast. So masterminds, which you could just call groups, is the last one. Pull this up. If you have Chris, he has a wellness retreat. He does wellness retreats and fitness. So he brings people together. Aiden, I read his story this morning. When he had his second son, he felt so disconnected from his kids. He's like, I was never taught how to be affectionate. I was never taught how to feel this love. And he taught himself, and he became an amazing dad. Now he helps other dads be connected with their kids. And Christina, well, she just helps you look better. She enhances your style, and she does it through a monthly training. So let me ask you, I asked this earlier, right? We did the same thing. If this is number 1, and this is 2, and this is 3. If you had to pick one, you could change it later, but if you had to pick one of these, what would you do? Would you do a course, do it once, sell it over and over? Would you like to coach people one-on-one, maybe even group? Or would you like groups? Would you like to get together in person, do a retreat, do a monthly, do a membership? Look at this, all of them. 3, 2, 2, 1. There you go, guys. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. Amazing. Amazing. Masterminds, all 3, 2 and 3. Yeah, eventually you end up doing all of them. We do courses, we do coaching, and we do masterminds. So if you think about it, I know I'm going quick. But at this point, think about how far we've come, right? At this point right now, you've extracted what you're thinking, like what you're going to share, right? You guys picked, I don't know, career skill, life experience, and passion. Then the who, we narrowed down that dot. We're not trying to help everybody. That little dot could still be millions of people. And again, I promise you tomorrow, we're going to show you how to find them. The world has changed completely and how to get some help doing it. Then we talked about how you're going to deliver it. And you guys are right in. You're in it. You just shared it just now. So the next logical step is to start thinking about what we call teaching points or lessons. So if you think about, again, this is what I'm going to share, at least I think right now. I understand who would want it. Hey, I'd like to do coaching. No, I'd like to do a course. So this is just a little glimpse on what you would actually teach. Basically, what are the main things you teach or share with someone if you want to help them reach their goal, right? So let me give you an example. If my goal was to help someone write a best-selling book, what are a few things I'd want to share with someone? Pull this slide up. I might want to share lesson 1. How do I identify who would want to read my book? That's a pretty cool thing. Like, let's take a little work and say, who's my ideal client that would want to read my book? Maybe lesson number 2, 3 steps to creating a winning title. Lesson number 3, lay out chapters using outcome thinking. What is the outcome you want of that chapter? Lesson 4, using audios to write faster. And AI, right? Lesson 5, build buzz around your book. Lesson 6, launch your book on Amazon. Now, again, we're taking a crash course here, but if you know what to share, who it's going to, how to deliver it, now it's like, what are just some things that I would teach? So you still feeling good? Just making sense? Give me a thumbs up or a hand raise if I'm going at a good tempo for you. I want you to learn today that we promised you when you'd come, you'll learn, right? And you'd see what's possible. And we also have a few amazing hours left. So I hope you're staying strong. Hope you're staying hydrated. Hope you're finding the engine. We got Jillian Turecki, if you don't know her, amazing. We got Tony Robbins. They'll be here live. You don't want to miss even a second. But right now, I want you guys to do a little work. Are you guys ready to do a little work to anchor this in before we go any faster? Let's have you create a first draft of 6 teaching topics or lessons around the topic you picked. Don't overthink it. Remember, you chose what knowledge you wanted to share and who you'd share it with. I know I've been repeating that, but this topic could become, the topics that you're going to create right now, they could become modules in a course. They could become monthly lessons in a community. They could be 6 coaching topics that you do over 6 weeks in groups or one-on-one. Remember, it's not about, what did we say earlier? It's not about perfection. It's about progress. So you guys up for doing a little work? Okay. But first, I got to share something so freaking cool. Something I wish Tony and I had when we started. It's why we always say the game has changed, and you can go faster with confidence and with guidance like never before. This is how technology actually empowers and accelerates you, not scares you. This is the thing that condenses time. Some things that took days, weeks, or months can now take minutes. This is why now is the perfect time that you're considering this, and I'm so glad you're here right now. And some of you might already be having fun with Gigi. Who's already experimented or had some fun with Gigi? Raise your hand, or say me in the chat. And for those of you that haven't, I want you to meet Gigi before we go and do this work. It's just fun to see what's possible and where the world's going. See, I said something in the beginning, and I really want you to hear me. I said, could we be bold enough to be optimistic? You see, it's really easy, especially where the media is in today's world. We could think the world's going to end. It's going to hell in a handbasket. Money's going to devalue. AI is going to take over the world. Nothing's going to be the same. And of course, it could go in that direction. But I want to be boldly optimistic and say, no, innovation, people with good hearts, people will bring us together. Think about this. We are all over the world, hundreds of thousands of people. We're coming together here with a likeness that we just want to be a better version of ourselves. We want to be better for our families. We want to be connected to something bigger than ourselves. Is that all true? Right? So I love to see what's possible for all of us. And I want to be boldly optimistic to say these tools, like Gigi and like the way we created this AI, can just allow us to go faster. It can be our accelerators. And Gigi that we created is your AI guide. She knows this industry truly better than most people on the planet. Gigi knows what to do first, what to do next. She's never sick, never tired, and she's there for you 24 hours a day. She asks the right questions. She has the right answers, so you never get stuck. It's part of that desire Tony and I have to make sure people don't get stuck on the blank page. And what's even cooler, and I want to be clear on this, Gigi isn't an AI coach. She's not the same as ChatGPT, and you guys already realize that if you're playing with her. She's the result of our team spending the last 2 years building her to be your co-pilot who thinks like Tony and I. The truth is she knows all of our secrets, especially in this industry. And again, who's already using her? Raise your hand if you're already using her, right? Such a perfect time for you to be here. So in fact, here's what I'd like to do. And we're going to take a break here in just a minute. I want to take a break, and don't go anywhere because we got Tony when we come back. I want you to lay out this 6 teaching points. But Tanner from our team this morning shot a quick little, I think 90-second video. I want to show you where the world has gone. I want to show you what Gigi can do to help you. If you do it on your own, you could follow the same model. If we could play that, don't go anywhere. I'll be back in 90 seconds.
Hey everybody, Tanner here from Dean and Tony's office over at Mastermind, and I am so excited to give you a little glimpse into how powerful Gigi is. It's pretty crazy that our team's been able to take the past 76 years of knowledge with Tony and Dean and put it into an actual AI that can help you go faster, have more confidence, and just get stuff done. For example, I want to show you just how easy it is to do your teaching points when you have Gigi's help. Check this out. Now, one thing I love about Gigi is that I don't even need to type out my questions. I literally can just ask by using this microphone down here. So watch this. Hey Gigi, so my solution statement is I help busy parents transition to a vegan lifestyle even if they are super busy and don't have much time. Can you help me create 6 teaching points I could teach my ideal clients? Then she types it all out for me. I press send. And she comes back with 6 teaching points. Number 1, understanding vegan nutrition basics, meal planning for busy schedules, reading labels and shopping smart, dealing with social situations, incorporating family-friendly vegan recipes, and staying motivated and overcoming challenges. I absolutely love those, but I want to go a little further. Thanks, Gigi. This is amazing. I think I decided I want to turn this into a 6-week coaching program. Could you turn this into a 6-week coaching program for me? Then she types it out. I press send. And she comes back with the actual weeks broken down. You can see she has a title for each week, an objective for each week, activities for each week, and then I can go even deeper. Hey Gigi, I love what you did in week 5, but could you go a little deeper and help me break that down so I really understand what you're thinking? Then I press send. Absolutely, Tanner. Here we go. She gives me a little bit more detail, so she gives me the objective, the activities, and she breaks it down. So there's 3 activities. We got video tutorials, nutritional guidance. I mean, I could go even deeper and have her break it down by the minute, but I think I'm going to keep going. Wow, Gigi, thank you so much. But I think I changed my mind. I think I want to change this coaching program into a workshop. Can you help me create an agenda for a 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. workshop? Then I send it. Here's a detailed agenda for a 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. workshop. You can see she broke it down. She even gave me the breaks. She gives me the lunch break. And you can tell she even said, enjoy a catered vegan lunch. So how cool is that? She was able to create not only my first product, but she was able to tell me how to coach better in that product. And then she was able to take it and turn it into an event agenda. So now I only have one last question. Gigi, this is amazing. But what should I call my program? Send that over. I'm glad you like the agenda. Here are a few name suggestions. Vegan Family Fusion, a busy parent's guide. Plant-powered parenting, the vegan transition workshop. I can pick any of these names because they're all amazing. So guys, this is my time. I hope you see how powerful Gigi can be when you just really know how to interact with her. She's going to ask you great questions as you ask her great questions, and she substantially speeds up your journey to success. So I appreciate your time, and I'll see you guys inside Mastermind.
Is that cool? Is that cool or what? Yeah, amazing. Wowzers, amazing. That's wild. Oh my God, this is what I needed. Listen, it is so freaking awesome. I mean, Tanner just started with a couple of questions, and the cool part is she'll ask you questions. I just want to say I'm so grateful I'm alive during a time that this is available, that this is possible. You know how much faster and further Tony could have. We always joked that when we started, we had to walk uphill both ways in the snow. Now you have this guide, this co-pilot that can literally think and work with you exactly like Tony and I would. It's amazing. And the cool part on a personal level for Tony and I, this is going to carry on our teaching even after we're gone. How amazing. So now it's your turn. So let's take a few minutes and have you lay out your teaching points. Remember, if you know what you want to share, who you want to share it with, what are just some things that you would like to teach to help someone go faster? Right? We'll take a 10-minute break here and we'll lay out all 6 teaching points. And remember, they don't have to be perfect. Listen, if you already have Gigi, use her now. Wait till you see how quick she can help you accomplish this. And if you'd like to use her, if you don't have her, it's part of the VIP package. You can get it for $1. You get the VIP success system, and you could be using Gigi right now. It's fun. We donate that $1 to Feeding America. You just go to thrive2025vip.com. If somebody could maybe put that in the chat or put it along the bottom, thrive2025vip.com. No stress. Either way, here's what I'm going to tell you. Either way, do the work. And either way, be back in 10 minutes sharp because we got Jillian and Mr. Tony Robbins. Again, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Just write down 10 things. And if you have time, go get Gigi, and you'll be able to use her tonight and through the entire 3 days. Who's ready to do a little work? All right. You see, you could go there. Oh, we got a screen. If you could pull that slide up. So this is to tell you exactly what to do. You get to do the 6 teaching points. If you want to go to Gigi, there's the link. Either way, do the work. We'll be back sharp in 10 minutes with amazing guests. Put it in the chat. Oh, once you have your 6 teaching topics, I'll watch the chat. Put it in there. See you in a few minutes. Hey guys, come on back. Come back to your computer. What's going on, guys? All right, guys. So I want to tell you, thank you for so many of you going to take a test drive with Gigi. We did something we've never done. 30,000 of you try to access all at exactly the same time, and she's a little slow right now. Sorry, Claire. Sorry, Teresa. Sorry, Hope. It'll be back up within the next 5 minutes, but we've never had, and they tested for it. They were testing at 20,000, but 30,000 of you almost exactly the same time try to use her at once. It'll be back up in a few minutes. Here's the cool part. If you took the upgrade to the VIP, you have a whole 30 days to use her. You can have fun tonight. You'll be able to use her through all 3 days, and we'll make sure we send out some simple instructions. Yeah, we broke the internet in a good way. Oh, she was working great for me. I'm glad, Jess. But it'll be fixed. Sorry about that. That surge should never happen again. How cool is it, though? Who got the chance to work with her a little bit? Who just did the work no matter what? Who's got some teaching points that they can think about, right, to help someone go faster? Here's the cool part. You have until midnight that you could upgrade. Let's jump right into what's next. We still got about 2 hours left, about an hour and 45 minutes left. We got Jillian, we got Tony Robbins, and we're going to finish this day off really, really strong. Because think about it, where we started today. So many of you raised your hand and said you're brand new. You're ready to be optimistically courageous and all those beautiful things, right? You came in not knowing some just tire kickers, and by now you've already said, hey, I do have some knowledge. This is what I'd share. You already thought about who you could share it with. You already thought about how you could deliver it. No matter what you've done with the teaching points, again, do it more tonight, do it later. You've already started thinking about, hey, these are the things I could teach. These are the things that could help someone go faster. We're making a lot of progress in only a couple of hours, not even a couple of hours, and it's only going to get better. Who's all in? Put all in the chat if you're ready to finish this day strong. All right. Well, like I said, Tony will be here first, but I'm really excited for this next guest. You know, when I met her and heard of her journey, how she went from helping clients one-on-one to impacting people all around the world, I knew she had to be someone. Thank you for the all in. I see it. I knew she had to be someone we brought to you, brought to this stage. Today, she's a relationship coach, teacher, podcast host, speaker, and writer who's been helping people transform their relationships with others and themselves at a global scale. But believe me, that's not where she started, and I can't wait for you to see that. She's a great example of what's possible when you stop trading hours for dollars and start sharing what you uniquely know, share your experience. I asked her to share her secrets behind her success and what she wished she knew sooner. So without further ado, can you please help me welcome a huge Thrive 2025 welcome to Jillian Turecki. Give it up for Jillian. I said give it up for Jillian, for God's sakes. We're going to make you dance in your chair, Jillian.
I
love it. Jillian, it's so nice to have you here. Are you watching all these amazing people and their incredible comments?
Incredible. I'm so thrilled to be here. You know, can't even tell you.
We're heading towards 800,000 people, over 100 countries, coming together to see what's possible. You know, we talked about it earlier. Let's be boldly optimistic. We know we're meant for more. Let's gain the skills and actually do something crazy and try to live into it. And yes. Thank you for being here. I've totally enjoyed getting to know you and watching your story. I'm so glad I had a friend recommend you. And then I watched John Lewis Howes, and just watching what you're doing is so cool. And why I think it's really important to have you here. When you see that success, you think, oh, I bet you it was easier for her, right? You started in the trenches. You were helping people one-on-one with their relationships, right?
Yes, exactly.
But the thing, and I'm doing all the talking, then I'm going to be quiet. But the first question I have for you, but there was probably a point, I guess you realized you didn't just want to help one person at a time, right? You realized maybe I could impact thousands of people. I could impact more through a digital format. I mean, theory probably sounded good. Again, we'll talk about why it was scary, but was there an aha moment or something that made you go, I need to try this?
Yeah, well, there was actually a series of moments. There were clients who were telling me how much our work together was impactful and changed their lives. And then there was just the sort of fatigue of just working one-on-one and not being able to scale, like feeling stuck, like feeling like the ceiling was pretty low. And then there was just like, well, I was seeing other people do it. And I thought, well, why not me?
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, if I could have such a meaningful impact on the people who I was working with one-on-one, then it would be unfair. It wouldn't be right to not spread my knowledge and not to help people on a larger scale.
So good. So good. And what was your, what was the kind of the first steps for you?
Well, I think it's important to say that before I took any steps, it was just a lot of self-doubt and a lot of, you know, up here can be a real battlefield. And so you're just constantly in battle with this self-doubt. So the first steps that I took was I just made a decision that I was going to do it. And that really was the first step, because if you don't decide, you're not going to actually do it. And then I decided to study all the people who were doing it already. And that was really important because by studying the people who did it already, that's how I would learn to actually do it. And then I worked with a coach. I worked with a coach to help me stay accountable, because when you're alone, when you're solopreneur, you can be in your head a lot. and then you're not being held accountable. So I knew that I had to be held accountable. And so those were the initial steps. And then I just decided to create a newsletter that would go out to the people who I had in a newsletter, and it would be for free, and just keep growing it and just give and give and give and give and not let anything stop me, honestly.
I love that. You know, as you're talking, I want to digest this and not just think of the next question. Like, as you're talking, listen, millions of people know who you are right now. They trust your advice. They trust your relationship. They invest in your courses. They buy your coaching, and they say thank you. I see it all over the internet. But there was a time when no one knew your name. And I think of that because I can go back to that thinking, I can do this, I can do more, I'm meant for more. And then all those doubts kind of punch you in the face. Like, who are you? I mean, I don't know if it's just me, and I know this is one of the things you help people with, but I still have that voice in me. It's way less loud, and I can shut it up really fast. But when I first started, it was a screamer. Like, hey, you're not Tony Robbins. I know you bought his thing. Who do you think you are? You know, you're 5'7". He's 6'7", right? He's dynamic. He's got this incredible voice. Yours is squeaky, right? I was thinking of all these things, and it's like almost like you have this crazy conversation of two people in your head. And I feel blessed that you listen to the right one, because there's people all over the world benefiting. We're having fun having this conversation today. But I'd love to know, because, the monkey mind, I see you, Gabrielle, right? And Heather, that's me too, right? Total imposter syndrome, I get it. So what were your biggest fears that you had to push through?
Okay, so my biggest fears were, I had a few stories sort of running in my head. One would be like when I really first started to put myself out there, like online, it was more like, is anyone going to buy my course? Is anyone going to listen? Is anyone going to watch? Like, what if? There was like a lot of what ifs. And then I had a story in my head, which is like, I'm not an entrepreneur. Like, I was a yoga teacher for years. I'm not an entrepreneur. I can't do this. I can't do this. And I would torture myself sometimes with these thoughts. But so I had a lot of fear and a lot of doubts, but ultimately what I knew I had to do was to honestly push those thoughts away. I had to reject them. And I had to think about the people who I wanted to help more than thinking about my own ego.
Yeah.
And that was major. And then I just knew that I had to do this, and that if I didn't do it, then the suffering that I would experience and the stress, which is suffering, that I would experience as a result of not doing it would actually be far greater and longer term than if I actually put myself out there. And then what if, no one bought anything?
God, it's so good. If I think back, right, I think the words are, and say yes or raise your hand in the chat, is, who am I to do this? Like those words were, who am I to do this, right? That imposter syndrome, some people, they're saying yes, right? And then I heard, like, this is how you obviously live, what you just shared. It's how I've lived. It's how everybody here is going to live. If you're going to take that action, that your why, your purpose, has to be bigger than the fear of actually doing it, right?
Absolutely.
And you never would have known the impact you could make. You would never have known. Listen, and when you first get started, of course, you got to model proven practices. You got to keep going. You got to persist to succeed. Your brain, just so everybody knows, and maybe you could share if you feel this, I can remember being a year in, 5 years in as an entrepreneur, and my brain going, hey, you're not going to make it. Like, this is too much. Like, you don't know business at that level. Who are you to have 50 employees? Like, the brain never stops with those questions.
Never.
We just got to find something stronger that goes, I hear you, but I'm not listening to you. Because the last time I listened to you, right, you made me miss out on an incredible opportunity, right?
Yes.
So now that you're on the other side, is there any process that you went through that you could share with someone if they're feeling that way today? Maybe they missed a few other opportunities. They feel like they want to do it. They get in state, they're ready, but then slowly drift back into old routines.
Yeah, so I have a few things to share. One is you have to, I really recommend having some sort of mentor who can help you and keep you accountable in some way. A coach, even if it's a mentor online, whatever it is, someone who can keep you accountable and who can be in your corner. I also recommend that, look, I will say this until I am blue in the face. the not starting is actually going to create more pain in your life than actually starting and then having to pivot or change anything. You are never, ever going to be happy knowing that you wanted to do something, but you let all your doubts stop you. And another thing that you'll never be happy. It is a recipe for suffering. And then what I will also say is this, your doubt and your fear and who am I? Because listen, if I could do it, you could do it. I mean, I was a yoga teacher. I knew nothing about business. I'm still learning. I never even wrote before. I wrote a book, a New York Times bestseller. I've never written before. And so you just have to follow that desire inside of you and not let anything stop you, and to recognize this. The thoughts that you have about I'm not good at this or I can never stop or anything like that are absolutely not unique. Everyone has them. And the only difference between the person who actually makes it or realizes their dream or sells that course and doesn't is the one who doesn't listen to those thoughts, who doesn't let who doesn't let them stop them, period.
So good. You know, I feel like if I look back at the things in my journey is having leverage to move forward, whatever that takes. Some of you want to move away from something painful. Like, I don't like the career I'm in. I don't like the life I'm in. I don't like the money I'm making, or the impact that I'm not making. I say you let it disturb you enough, like a splinter, that you got to take action and move. And if life's okay and you're kind of just like, it's okay, but I know I'm supposed to be doing something bigger, then make that big goal so empowering that it's pulling you. You can't help it. It lets you overcome. And whatever, again, I'll share this with you all, is I've done some crazy things in my life to keep moving forward. And there was one, and maybe if you got one, I'd love to hear it, Jillian.
Okay.
But I used to think about getting to the end of my life, meeting my maker, and whatever your beliefs are, I would believe God. Imagine if God played me a video of the man I could have been. And I think about, like, oh, what if I took that bold move? What if I got out on the field? What if I failed but got back up? What if I was brave enough to say, Dad, I don't care if you think it's crazy, my sister or family, I'm doing it anyway. I think about, what if I don't do it? And I get to the end of my life and you get to see who you could have been if you take those steps. And I'm like, no. I need to come back in the present moment and be more bold, be more brave, not listen to that voice that's already cost me too much. It's kind of my go-to. Is, whoa, I don't want that video. I want a highlight reel. I want my maker to go, damn, you're crazy, right? Do you have anything that helps you kind of bounce out of that state?
Yes. So something that's somewhat similar to yours is there's a lot of people have heard this concept that when someone is dying, that they don't regret what it is that they did. They regret what they haven't done. Now, I had to bury both my parents and my stepfather. So I was with them in the process when they were dying. And I can confirm that it's the regret of what you didn't do. So I think about that. I think about being towards the end of my life and not thinking about my mistakes and all the things that I did that were stupid and whatever, because I'm a human being, but literally the things that I really wanted to do, but I let fear or I let my self-doubt stop me. And that's a very chilling thought for me. And that's what motivates me.
I love it. You know, I was doing a podcast with Tom Bilyeu ages ago, and we were on the same topic. And he said, sometimes I have to go to the dark side. And I was like, I was intrigued by that, right? It's kind of a Star Wars metaphor. What do you mean by that? He said, sometimes when I know I have to move forward, I know I'm going to be a better version of me on the other side of this thing I'm hesitating on. The thing, he said, not even the thing you're afraid of, more the thing like, that's a little uncomfortable, so I'm going to ignore it. I'm just going to pretend that it goes away. I know I'm supposed to be doing my own thing. I know I could help others. I know I could write a book even though I did, but that's a little scary. And he goes, you ignore it so much that it builds and it gets, you can't make it go away. He said, sometimes I'll go to the dark side and lean into anything that really disturbs me. And you know, could be, I don't want to be like my parents. I want to have, if I leave my life this way, I'm going to end up with getting to my end of my life and realize I missed it. I have huge regret. So I think for everyone, whatever it takes to get the rocket off the ground, you should utilize it. And you don't want to live on the dark side, but if it gives you a little shot to get off, then use it, right?
Yes, absolutely. You have to. We have to use whatever tricks we can to get out of the tricks that our minds play on us.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I started off today, Jillian, and I said, it was the question Tony Robbins asked when we did our first virtual event 7 years ago, right here. We were sitting next to each other, and he started with this question: is at the end of your life, if you could choose impact or impacting others or incredible success, what would you choose? And everybody put impact. I mean, I don't think there was one person that didn't put impact. And what Tony said, and is still relevant today, why choose when you can have both? Mm-hmm. And how cool is it that I'm watching you make an impact from someone who's a yoga teacher with imposter syndrome and scared, but you're truly impacting people. You're helping them overcome the things that they needed to overcome. I'd like to just ask, what are some of the byproducts of this industry that you didn't expect when you first started?
Ooh, that's a great question. I never expected how fulfilling it could actually really be. If you can just impact one person, or that one person, or those 5 people, or those 10 people buy your course, and then they say something like, wow, this was so helpful. Just knowing that you can have that kind of impact is incredibly fulfilling. So I just never really understood the full depth of how fulfilling it actually can be, knowing that you can reach more people than just like the one-on-one. And so that was actually really surprising to me. I mean, I had a sense, but I never really knew it until I started to really experience it.
Now I know you're having incredible success, and I love watching you grow. I've just been in this a lot longer than you, and the only person I think in it longer than you is Tony, and he's going to be here in just a few minutes. But I have to tell you, there's a time when something takes over, and I want to future pace it for you, Jillian. And I wasn't planning on talking this, but I want to future pace it for everybody here. There's something about this industry, because in any new venture, do you have fears in a new venture? Yes or no? Right? Do you still have to learn it? Do you still get uncomfortable? Does your brain still say, I see you, Austin, thanks for playing along, right? You still think, oh, I don't know if I could make this. I don't know if it's for me. I don't know if it's the tech. I don't know, right? But there's this time, and I can remember it and I don't know why it didn't hit me, but there was a time where I'd be someplace and somebody'd say, hey, Dean, oh my God, thank you. Like, thank you. You don't understand. I was going down this path, and it shifted, and they'd tell me. And at first, it's almost embarrassing, right? If you meet somebody in person, it's a little embarrassing, or you get an email and you go, oh, I'm glad it worked for them. But then all of a sudden, and what I want to share with all of you, there's this point where it becomes bigger than you. Mm-hmm. I'm so blessed that I'm working right now. I'm with you all. This is what I get to do for a living. We're getting hundreds of thousands of people all around the world. We hope inspire you to another level. I'm working right now. This is what I get to do. I am so blessed. Who would have ever thought? But I want to tell you, Jillian, if it didn't already happen to you, there's this point where it takes you over. And you realize it's not about how do I make money and then help people. It's about how do I serve these people at the highest level possible? How do I give them what they need? How do I get more people? And then the byproduct is you have a growing business. And when that switches for each of you, I just want to tell you, it's when people say, oh, I wake up excited every day. Some of you if you've never experienced it, you might be thinking, that's BS. You cannot wake up excited to attack the day. I used to get up at 5:30, then it went to 5, then 4:30. I wake up at 4:15 every day now because I want more time. And it's a gift. It's why we do these events. It's why we scream from mountaintops. It's why, because, again, I always joke, if you go to a great movie, don't you love to share it? If you have a great meal, don't you love to share it? We found an industry that each person here has the opportunity to be a part of, and oh my gosh. So I didn't mean to go on that rant, but are you starting to feel that this is bigger than you?
Yeah, I actually am. I am. And yeah, and I think that that's just sort of what purpose sort of feels like is that it does become something bigger and larger than you. And that's what actually everyone needs to remember, is that it is already bigger than you. And if you stand in the way of whatever it is that you want to create and however it is that you want to help others, you are standing in the way of other people having better lives. You really have to see it that way, because it is that. And I want to really emphasize is that we all have this fear. It is completely normal. I used to have meltdowns about the tech, like freak out and then be like, I'm quitting. Like I had temper tantrums about it. So like, if I can do it, you can do it. But the thing that kept me going was realizing that if I did nothing, then what is it really all for? Then what am I actually here for? And if I do nothing, and if I let my fear stop me, then I'm literally making it about me and not making it about other people. And when you make it about other people benefiting from what it is that you can help them with, that is literally the ultimate motivator. You can't make it about you.
So good. So good. I'm going to tell a quick story here, and I got 2 more quick questions for you. Thank you, by the way, Jillian. This is so beautiful. Everybody, are we having fun with Jillian? Let her know in the chat. I can tell you a quick story, especially because Tone's coming up here. But when him and I first started our relationship, talking about it's other people, right? He was the first one that anchored that into my head. I had been on camera like this for over a decade, but not a lot of live. So we become friends. He says, hey, I'm going to Australia. I'm going to Japan. I'm going to China. I'd love for you to come. You could speak. So of course, Tony asked me, I meet him in Japan, I meet him in China, and we go speak. And of course, I'm following Tony Robbins on stage. There's 20,000 people. Long story short, I went out there, and I know it was in my head a little bit, because I remember going out there, Jillian, thinking, wow, I've been doing this a long time. Tony's my dear friend. I respect him. He shifted my life all these years ago. I want to be good for Tony. And I went out there in my own ego, in my own, am I going to be good? Am I going to present? Is my voice going to carry, right? Especially after they watch Tony, right? I'm thinking all these things. And I know I wasn't my best. That night, Tony and we get together for dinner. He's like, you were amazing, but let me just give you one little thing. Today, you probably made it about you because you're worried what I would think. Like, he was just so in my head. And he said, it's not about you. He said, there's 15, 18,000 people. You're the best in the world at what you do, Dean. I'm the best in the world at what I do, but you're the best in the world at what you do, and that's why I brought you here, because they need you. It's not about you. We jumped on a plane. We flew to China, went to Shanghai. It was amazing. And before I went out there, I just remember thinking to myself, hey, this is not about me. These people came here because they need capabilities and skills that I got to experience. And I went out there and made it all about them, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. And I got done, and Tony was like, it was about them, wasn't it? And I was like, damn it, you're so good, right? So I just want to share that with you guys. When you start thinking this might be tough, this might not be for me, because you're thinking about you. Am I perfect? Do I know enough? Your experience is enough. And when you make your experience about impacting others, everything changes. So I got a question for you. We have so many amazing people here from around the world. They have experience, they have skills, they have knowledge that could help others, just like we're talking about. Some people have never started anything. They're dying to do something, and this is a new industry for them. You've been on a similar journey, just like we talked about. What would you say to someone who knows they're meant to do more, they're intrigued by this energy, but still just a little hesitant? I know we talked about it a lot, but I really want people to break through and see what's possible.
Think about the person, and just think of one person. It doesn't have to be someone who you know. It can be a person from a certain age, a certain group, whatever it is. Think of that person who you really want to help and who you know you can help. Your advice would actually, and your wisdom would actually change something for them. Keep their image in your mind's eye as you are sort of creating whatever it is that you are creating. And that's number one, because that was actually very useful especially for those people who are kind of visual. You just think of that person. You could think of them as your best friend, whatever it is. And then number two, this is so incredibly important. Some of the best advice I ever got was Forget about the website, Jillian. Just start giving. Just start. Create the course. Don't worry about what it looks like. Don't worry about the sales page. Don't worry about anything. Just start, and then let all those other refinements come after. Let me tell you something. The biggest mistake that anybody can make when they're first starting out in this is to think, well, I have to have the following on Instagram, or I have to have the website. And then once I do that, then I'll get started. Those are all your tricky procrastination tactics. That's all it is. It's procrastination. And it's because you think you have to do that, and it's not true. You don't have to do that. You really, really don't. I wasn't on Instagram. I just started. So good. You don't have to have the things to start. You have to start, and then you'll have the things.
God, that's so true. So good. Such good advice. And it's that, when you have resources, you still need to be resourceful, right?
Yes.
And not judge yourself on every step that you make. So what amazing advice. I'm going to end it with one last question here. Thank you again for being here, showing up live, being a part of this family, and sharing your heart and soul. Continued success. We love watching you. You got a lot of new people who will watch your journey from this point. I'd love to know what's next for you. I mean, you chose this industry. I'm sure from yoga instructor, this is a new path. It's like you were on a river and it's split, and you went down the right, and there's rapids, and now it's great. But what's the next thing for you?
Well, there's a lot that's coming up because nothing can stop me. That's just where I'm at. But in the next year or so, I'm going to create a school for people who want to learn the techniques that I've learned in coaching and helping others. And then they're also going to learn how to scale and make it into a really thriving business.
I love it. I love it. Well, Jillian, I want to say thank you for showing up. Thank you for just bringing your heart and soul. And I would bet to say you impacted more lives today than you could imagine, and that's why we do this. I want someone to see not just everything that's going well for you and on and all the morning shows and your New York Times bestselling book, but you're once a yoga instructor, and which is fantastic, but you knew you were meant for more, and you had to take uncomfortable action, and now you're in a place where you can impact others while you build this amazing thing for yourself. We're so proud of you, and we're so honored to have you here. Everybody, could we please give it up for Jillian?
Thank you.
I see you, Matthew Jones. I see you, Cranston. Let's crank up the energy a little bit, guys. We got some Paul Bartlett. I see you, James. I see you, Shelley. What are you guys doing? Put in the chat the biggest takeaway you got from Jillian. Diana, I think you're walking on a treadmill. Awesome. Multitasking. I see you, Lawrence. Natasha, Emily, Joa. I hope that was right. Just do it. Just start. Forget about the web study. Just start giving. Forget about the tech. Act before you're ready. Just start. The heck with the procrastination. Go for it. Just start. Just do it. It's about them. I love that. Isn't it about them? When you make it about them, doesn't it feel less stressful? I see you, Clint Myers, right? Think about how other people you can help. It's not about me. Get outside of my head and focus on others. Yeah, I'm all in. I love that. I love that, Santo. Not letting anything stop you. Let's do this. I have skills. Put it in the YouTube chat. Put it in the Zoom chat. Show other people. Commit to the universe. Commit to the other people in this room. Serve others and God will take care of you. Unstoppable, connected, all in. I'm going to rewrite my story. I'm going to thrive. It's not about my ego. It's about being here to serve others. Let's go. I see you, Tom Chesney. I see you, Denise Parker. I see you, Denise Day. Jose Fernando, I see you. So good. So good. So with that, are you guys ready for who's next? You might want to bring some extra energy here, I'll just say. You know, no one better to share the power of what's possible, to help you claim your true potential, overcome those old beliefs. He did it for me 28 years ago. You know, in a moment here, I want to play his intro reel, which we should all watch, and we should all grasp of how impactful this next hour or so is going to be. But I just got to say for a second before I play this incredible intro reel is I'm blessed to think about this journey. I watched this man 28 years ago on TV. I bought his course. I took it, and it shifted my life. It made me realize that life happens for me, not to me, like I shared. And so many other things. I could change my state, change my past, all these things. But it made me go in this industry. Who would have thought almost 30 years later, this man would be a mentor of mine every day, my partner, my dearest friend. I'm inspired and learn from this guy every single day. We're buddies now, but every day I learn something. He is such a great guide. He's a better person behind the curtain than he is in front of the curtain. And I love the man. And I'm so happy you get to be with him here live today. Who's ready? Give me a big heck yes if you're ready. All right, let's play this quick reel, and then let's give Tony the greatest. Robbins!
How y'all doing? Nice to see you all. Nice to see you, Jerry, Louise, Karina. Let's shake the building with some energy. Wake it up, everyone on your chair. Come on, you can do it. Get that energy going. There you go. Nice to see you all. Yes. Well, if you're feeling good, make a little fist, say yes. I know you're out there, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, it's a pleasure to be with you. We have, I guess, approaching 1 million people, 900,000 people from over 100 countries. Will you give a hand to everybody who's joined us here from their homes around the world? Fantastic. And before I say anything else, I just want to acknowledge Dean. You know, 48 years ago, when I really didn't have a clear idea of what direction I was going to go with my life, and I was frustrated and about 38 pounds heavier than I am now and feeling sorry for myself, I never dreamed that I'd be able to have the privilege to talk to all of you like this or do half the things I'm doing today. It would seem impossible. But it's amazing what little step at a time can do. And Dean is such a, I just want you to know how much he cares about you. I think I've been able to do this for 48 years and reached over 1 billion people, starting from nothing, because I really love people. I want to over-deliver. And this week here, we're here to really give you an experience of what's possible, about how you could actually create some freedom in your life, how you could do some things that are really meaningful, and that it doesn't matter where you are if you think you have nothing to share. We all have some problems that we've solved, some challenge, or we know somebody who has. But all this really came about because Dean listened to my stuff years ago and really applied it and grew. And one day somebody called me up, and I used to have these infomercials years ago. Anybody ever see one of these old infomercials that I was in? A few of you maybe. And in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was like every 30 minutes, 24 hours a day, somewhere in North America. It was ridiculous. But what I hated was I was in infomercials. I did it because I didn't want to just go do speeches at a company for an hour. I wanted to reach people, and I wanted to bring them into my events and have multiple days where I could go deep with them. And so, long story short, but I hated infomercials because it was like spray on hair and fake diamonds and all these other silly things, right? But it was the only way I could reach people. And it worked, but I hated when people say, oh, aren't you that infomercial guy? I mean, I hated that. And so I tell you this because years later, I wasn't involved with that anymore. My career had grown. And a mutual friend of ours, Dean and I, both reached out to me and said, I want you to meet this guy, Dean Graziosi. And I was like, isn't that infomercial guy? The very thing I didn't want anybody to say to me, I thought of, because that's the negative association, because I'd seen a few of those, and I was like, okay, I'll meet him. And then he came to one of my events, and we went out for lunch, and we ended up extending the lunch by an extra 30, 40 minutes because I just felt he was a brother on the path. And the reason I felt a brother is nobody cares more. And this man, you have no idea what he's done to pour into this. We're partners in this, and I'm certainly contributing my part, but he obsesses. And what I love is I obsess. I mean, we don't ever take anything for granted. It doesn't matter if this program's free. We're here to make sure you have an experience that's transformative if you want it, and show you how to go to the next level. So I just want to acknowledge Dean. He's become a dear friend. I've been doing this 48 years. He's been doing this 28 years. Between us, we figured this out the other day, 76 years of experience. But we give him a big hand for what he's putting on here today. He's an amazing guy. Love you, Dean. There he is. Love you, brother. Well, I know you're from all over the world, literally, and I'm glad you're here because these are interesting times. Isn't that what the Chinese call it? Interesting times. The idea of crisis is, when people feel fear and there's opportunity. And you think about the last few years, last 4 or 5 years, we went through COVID where the whole world was shut down and our whole lives were completely disrupted, and so many people lived in fear, unfortunately. And then we get out of that, and we had massive inflation, at least here in the United States. Most countries did. And now we've been in a position where there's all this uncertainty. We have a president some people love, some people hate. I'm an independent. I'm not here to tell you what to believe either way. But what's interesting is if you listen to the media, you think it's the end of the universe. The world is ending. When in reality, we're in pretty damn good times. Inflation just hit the lowest level in America it's had in more than 4 years. Everybody a few weeks ago was saying, the stock market lost $13 trillion. The end of the universe is over. And that was 4 weeks ago, and it's already back higher than it was before. We all have different seasons of our life. I'm sure you've been in winter at times. I sure have been. Times when it felt like, man, nothing works. Nothing's going to work, like the dark night of the soul. Who can relate? Who's had some nights or days like this in your life, right? But the beautiful thing about life, the universe or God, however you want to call it, is it has seasons, and winter's never forever. No matter how dark it seems, as corny as it sounds, it's darkest before the dawn. There's a reason phrases like that get overused, because they're true. It's like, what follows winter? Springtime, where all of a sudden everything grows and it's easier and people are optimistic and things shift. And that I'm not saying that we're already in springtime as a culture, but we're certainly moving in that direction. I think we've been through some of the toughest winters we can imagine. That doesn't mean there won't be new challenges ahead. And I think if you can do well in winter, you'll do well for the rest of your life. I started my first business in this industry when I was just 17. No one showed up. It was free. I couldn't get anybody to even show up for the program. But because I started during a tough time, I learned to get stronger and stronger, and you build things just a little bit at a time until you can get to something quite amazing. But I want to tell you, spring is around the corner, but you don't have to wait for springtime. It could be springtime for you. I live here in Palm Beach, Florida, rather, and this is wintertime right now. It's kind of beautiful. It's 78 degrees, and it's pretty awesome. So you don't have to live like everybody else, especially if you decide that you want to find something you believe in that you want to share with the world, even at a small scale, even part-time, and then grow it, because the opportunity today is unlike any other time. I remember Dean and I were together, and we both, neither one of us play golf. We play golf like once a year. We play 6 holes. We find the favorite holes to play. We're not really very patient for 18 holes, he and I. And we end up talking the whole time. And we were on this golf course, and we were both talking about how much the world has changed and how grateful we are that somehow we stumbled across this idea of self-development, self-education, and that we used it and we've transformed ourselves and we've helped so many other people, and that we got to make something we love what we live for, that it's not only a career, it's our calling, and that we've done well economically, and we have freedom for our families, and we're talking back and forth and saying, gosh, we help so many people. I wish we could get more people in this business, because, man, can you imagine, when we started out, you had to walk uphill both ways through the snow, you know what I mean, 10 miles. But it's really true. The industry was a tiny industry when I started out, especially. I mean, in order to do a seminar, I had to go, write a brochure. There was no AI that could do it for me in 3 minutes and give me 20 examples and even do the visuals. I had to write the brochures over several days, and then I had to go get somebody to do the mock-up of it, and that took about a week or two and cost $1,000. And then you had to print those things, and they were at least $1.50 each. And then if you're going to send them to 20,000 people, that was going to be like $25,000, and you had to pay for the stamps, and then you had to go rent a room. And now, you make a brochure like this with an AI. We built our Gigi, the best of both of what we do. You're going to get to use it this week. And it's like in minutes, seconds, do things that took months. And now, we don't have to spend the money to mail something. It was like, what the hell are you talking about? We got email, we got text. We have full motion video. We don't have to go to a facility to do it. I'm able to talk to you all around the world right now. And we got almost 1 million people here. My seminars have changed. They went to 10,000 and 20,000 people. It's the biggest you could imagine. Now my biggest seminars, like 1.3 million people I do every year for 4 days. So that's how technology has changed the game, and that's why we started creating this. And I'm proud to tell you, we've had over 250,000 people start businesses or take their business to the next level through the processes that we taught, and it's been a dream. So I'm excited to share with you. So the question I want to answer for you, first of all, I want to ask you, how many of you already have a business and you're looking to add some digital products to it as another source of income? I'm curious. Make a little noise if you have that. Okay. How many of you out there currently are working for someone else, but you haven't made the dive yet, but you really would love to at least have a part-time income on the side of someone or want to start a new business? And how many of you are like all in? You're starting a new business right now, or you're about to and you're committed to it? I'm curious. How many of that plays? Okay, that's really great. Well, everything you want to achieve can happen, but it takes one skill. In fact, I'm writing a book on this right now. It's called The Power of Decisions. I was working on it yesterday. I wrote the first chapter. And I look at my life and I say, why am I here? And the answer is decisions, not conditions. I had pretty lousy conditions. I grew up in a really tough environment. We had no money. At times we had no money for food. But there were certain things along the way that I was fortunate enough or had the grace to decide that, God, the universe, and then I did my part too, that led me in a direction. It didn't happen overnight. This is not a let's get rich quick scheme, like tomorrow you're going to make $10 million. It doesn't work that way. But what it does work is if you learn to do a little thing and you do it a little better, because of technology, you can scale things now. You can take something that before you were in the library trying to do for free and end up with, one of our clients has 3,000 to 5,000 people a month right now. And she was like, trying to talk to 30 people for free in the library, and very few people were listening. That's what technology can provide for us today. But the decisions were really important. So I'll just take you back for a second to give you kind of a background, if I may, and then give you the content about what decisions can change your life. Because I want to share with you, there's 3 decisions you're making every moment of your life. You're even making them right now. And as I walk you through it, you can tell me whether you think it's true or not. You'll experience it. And if you make any of these decisions slightly differently, your whole life changes. So let me tell you the background. When I was growing up, I had 4 different fathers. One day I said to my mom, I'm confused. Right? And we were totally broke. My father's a good man, but they managed to lose their jobs, every one of them at different stages, and we had no money, and we had food stamps, so we're barely surviving. And I remember one particular Thanksgiving when I was 11 years old, this is what really changed my life, was we had no money, no food. When I say no food, we had crackers and peanut butter. When everyone else is having a Thanksgiving dinner, turkey and the whole 9 yards, it was pretty depressing. And my mom and dad were angry at each other. My mom was telling my dad what he hadn't provided for my family, and my dad was saying other things you can't take back to my mother. And I have a younger brother, younger sister, 5 and 7 years younger, and so I'm trying to keep them so they don't hear this conversation. And then what changed my life? I knock at the door. I open the door, and this giant guy is standing there, and he's got a bag of groceries in each hand, and then he had an uncooked frozen turkey on the ground in an empty pot. And he said, is your father home? And I said, just one moment, right? And I ran to get my dad. My mom had slammed the door on him, on the bedroom door, and my dad was banging on the door, yelling at her. And I said, Dad, there's someone at the door for you. He goes, you answer it. I said, I answered it. He goes, who is it? I said, I don't know. He said, he has to talk to you. And then inside, it was like Christmas morning. I was so excited to see my father. I thought this is going to be the most beautiful day of our lives. And my dad opened the door and saw the guy, and he was not happy. And I couldn't believe it. It was like that split second he stayed angry. And my father said, "We don't accept charity." And he went to slam the door on the guy. But the guy had the groceries, and he kind of leaned in, so it hit his shoulder, and the door bounced off, which made my dad even madder. And the guy said, sir, I'm just the delivery guy. He said, you know, someone knows you're having a tough time. Everyone has tough times, and they want you to have a beautiful Thanksgiving. My father said, "We don't take charity," and went to do it again. But this time, because he leaned in, his foot hit the door now too, and it bounced up and up again. And then the man, he was just the delivery guy. And the man was really nice. He didn't say this meanly, but I thought my father was going to punch him. He looked and saw me, and he said, "Sir," he said, "please don't make your family suffer because of your ego." And I'll never forget the veins in the side of my father's neck and the rage in his. I thought he was going to punch the guy in the face. And all of a sudden, my dad's shoulders just dropped. He took the groceries, he put on the table, and he slammed the door and didn't even say thank you. I was shocked. I couldn't understand it. Why isn't he happy? I mean, there's food, for God's sakes. What a concept, right? And shortly thereafter, my father left our family. And he's the man who adopted me. I carry his last name, Robbins. He's now passed away. I love him dearly. But it was I thought, the worst day of my life. But because there was so much pain, and I couldn't understand it, I obsessed about it. Like, why did he leave? What happened here? And gradually, I started to evolve an understanding. And it comes down to our life is controlled by our decisions. Think for a moment. Can you think of something you made a decision about 5 or 10 years ago? It could have been something simple, like where to go to school, or what to do for a living, where to live, who to spend time with, who to fall in love with, who to marry, whether you're going to have kids or not. How many of you can think of a decision you made 5 or 10 years ago that if you made a different decision, your life would be radically different today? I don't know better or worse, but radically different. How many can think of a decision that completely changed your life? Say aye. Right? So decisions, sometimes little ones and big ones, they create the fabric of our life. It's not the conditions we're in. And so part of what I figured out, because I obsessed about it, was that there's 3 decisions, and I want to share this with you right now, because this is what controls your whole life. Whether you succeed or fail, whether you're happy or miserable, whether you have great relationships or terrible ones, whether you start a business or just talk about it and never do it, whether you succeed or fail, is really controlled by these three decisions. And you're making them right now, even as we're speaking. Now, when I say when you're making them, that doesn't mean you're making them consciously. Most of us make these same 3 decisions over and over again. That's why our life doesn't change, because we do it subconsciously, meaning it's just a habit. But if you wake up to the power of these 3 decisions, you can change everything. Now, what are they? The first decision you're making right now is, what am I going to focus on? Right now, wherever you are in the world, I'm seeing some of you, you've got backgrounds that are obviously AI. Some of you are sitting outside. I see Guy Arnold there sitting there, it looks like in his living room. I see Miranda here. I'm looking over Alejandro. It's like I can see where you are. You're in different places in your life, all around the world. There's a million things you could be stimulated by. You could get focused on what happened yesterday. You could be focused on what you're going to have for lunch. You could be hearing what I'm saying. You could be thinking a million different things. Most of you are not thinking about the clothing touching your skin until I mention it, or the feeling of your heartbeat unless you focus on it. So there are millions of things we could experience in life, but we experience only what we focus on. And if you want to make a note, write down focus equals feeling. Focus equals feeling. Whatever you focus on, you will feel, make a note, even if it's not true. Focus equals feeling. And if you don't decide consciously to focus on, then your brain will just let something else control your focus. So for example, so take this for example, what's wrong is always available. You can always find something wrong with yourself, with other people, why I can't do something, why it won't work. How many would agree with me? How many can find something wrong if you want to? How many be able to do this, right? Right? On the other hand, what's right is also always available. And I'm not talking about positive thinking. I'm talking about being intelligent. Most of us let the world control our focus. Most of us let advertisers control our focus. Today, most of us let social media control our focus. Have you ever sat down, just let your brain disappear, and you start scrolling, and you wake up, and it's been 20 minutes, and you thought you were going to do this for 2? Who knows what I'm talking about here? Like, you completely waste your time. So whatever you focus on, you feel. Have you ever done this? How many of you have ever been freaked out about something, worried about something? You're focusing something, imagining it happening, and you feel all the pain right now, and you think about it over and over again, and then it never happened. Who's done this? Just focus on something, freaked out, never happened. In fact, some people, there's not something wrong in their life, so they think about crap that's happening in other people's lives and focus on that and feel worried, right? Like, we wonder why we don't feel good, right? So our focus controls us. If you think someone's trying to take advantage of you and you keep thinking about that, you're going to be stressed out. And by the way, have you ever had someone tell you something? Like, oh, so-and-so said this about you. And you went, no, they're my friend. They never did. No, they really did. But, and then after a while, you go, maybe they aren't my friend. Man, I can't believe this. You feel hurt. Maybe even confronted them. How could you have said this? And then you find out it's not what they said. You're upset about something that wasn't real. Who's had an experience like this one, too? A little noise you got, right? So our focus controls our life, but most of us don't control our focus. And that day, my father, I know what he focused on. I focused on there was food. What a concept, right? This is cool. His focus was he had not taken care of his family. How do I know? Because he said it over and over again. It was mumbling underneath him. Now, our focus controls our feeling, but the minute we focus on something, our brain makes the second decision, and that is, what does this mean? Our brain has to know, is this a threat? Is this an opportunity? Can I move forward or pull back? And so it gives it a meaning very quickly. Is this the end or the beginning? Is this person dissing me? Is this person challenging me? Is this person coaching me? Or is this person loving on me? If you think the person is dissing you, you're going to have a very different response than if you think they're loving you. And whatever decision you make of what things mean, it fixes and shapes how you feel. If you think this person is, trying to diss me, this person disrespecting me, you're going to probably feel angry or hurt, right? If you think this person is coaching you, you might lean in. If you think the person's loving you, you might feel grateful. How many follow what I'm talking about here? If you get it, say I. And most of us don't control our meaning. We automatically see something, we've been trained to give it a meaning, and we have that meaning. And the media does that all the time. Media people, by the way, aren't bad. Why is so much of the media negative all the time? Why does it have the worst point of view? Because they know there's a bias in the human brain. It's a survival bias that says we respond more to fear and pain than we do to pleasure. If you doubt it, think about this. Pain, continuous pain equals damage. Continuous damage equals death. So our brain has learned to deal with that unconsciously. And pleasure makes us survive as a species. I mean, the reason it's making love and procreating is pleasurable. But if you're not sure which one's more powerful, imagine you're procreating and then something threatens your life. And notice where your attention goes, right? It's going to go to what you're afraid of. So in the media, if it leads, it bleeds is a phrase that they always use in the media. It's like, if I can jolt you, the purpose of media today is not to educate you or inform you, right? It's to jolt you, because that's what's going to make you pay attention. They get paid when you pay attention. When you click on that, that's why I have clickbait, where it's not even what it really says. Something upsets you, something excites you, something they get your attention. Well, you and I, if we don't take control of our focus, we're going to focus on what they want us to focus on. We're going to be basically their robots. So learning to take control of your own focus is critical. But the most important thing is the meaning. And the meaning for my father, I know also because he kept saying it under his breath and sometimes out loud, is, I'm worthless. I'm worthless. I didn't take care of my family. I haven't been able to pay for anything. There's not even food on the table. I might as well not be here. I'm worthless. None of this is worth any of this. And that leads to the third decision. What are you going to do? If you're really angry, you're going to do something different than if you're feeling excited, obviously. If you're feeling grateful, you're going to behave differently than if you're feeling worthless. And so my father left our family. And as I said at the time, it was the worst experience of my life. But it made me come up with some different answers. I thought, what was the meaning for me? The meaning for me when this man fed this food was that strangers care. And why is that so important? Because I grew up in a very tough environment. I thought we lived in a, relatively upper middle class family, but we were on the other side of the tracks. We were the poor family, literally by the railroad tracks, where the train would come by and shake the building multiple times in the day. But honestly, it was a very low class economic place. I just don't think compared to. And we were the lowest of the low. And my father always said, no one cares about anybody else but themselves. And I believed it because it literally looked like it where we lived. We were treated like crap. We were looked down on. It was rough. But on this day, my brain got new evidence. It said, like, somebody delivered this food for my family, and they didn't even want credit. They saved my family on Thanksgiving. They didn't want credit. Strangers do care. And that made me make a decision. I need to care about strangers. That's why I'm here today. I get emotional even today thinking about it. Changed my whole life. And by the way, I don't even know who did this. My mom thought she knew who it was, but I hope they know, because it not only changed my life, because it changed my life, it changed millions of lives. And by the way, what I decided to do is, if strangers care, is I want to do this for two families. I'm going to pay it forward someday. When I'm older, I'm going to do it. This all happened when I was 11 years old. So when I was 17, I went out and I've had two families. And I was so excited, and I won't take the time to walk you through it, but it was one of the more emotional experiences of my life. I went to a family where it turned out that the father had left 3 days before Thanksgiving, and I delivered enough food for a week. They had no food, 4 little kids, and the woman there was so moved. I went as the delivery guy. I wasn't going to be thanked, but it was just, oh my God, it made me cry my eyes out. It was so beautiful. So the next year I did 4 families, then 8. Eventually I got to 100,000, then 1 million people. And then I was doing 2 million people a year through my foundation, 2 million through me. And then I was writing this book called Money Master the Game, which, by the way, I didn't know anything about the subject. Over the years, I built up skills around money. But I went and I would call like a knowledge broker or a reporter. I went and interviewed 50 of the smartest financial people in the world: Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, Carl Icahn, some of those brilliant people. And all I did was figure out what they had in common, put in this book. And Money Master the Game, by the way, is #1 New York Times bestseller, but it's also the best-selling financial book of this century. It's only 25 years into the century, but it's kind of cool. And it was all not me, it was me interviewing people. It's pretty much what we do here a lot of times. You go and you interview people, it's how you start the business. You get their insights and you share them. But the bottom line is, I found myself in a position where it's like, okay, I'm gonna figure out how to do this. I'm gonna feed 2 families for us. Well, when I got to that point where I'm writing this book, I was interviewing all these billionaires, all self-made billionaires. Nobody from the Lucky Sperm Club, right? They didn't inherit it. They had to do it themselves. And I'd find out what they had in common. While I'm interviewing these billionaires, Congress, to save money, cut food stamps. They call it the SNAP program now. And I survived on them as a child. My family did. Cut it by $6 billion. This basically means every family in America that actually needs food has to give up a week of food a month unless people like you and I step up. So I called my foundation. I said, how many people have I fed in my lifetime? And I was thrilled to find out, I didn't realize it's many. It was 42 million people. And while I was really grateful and gratified by that, I thought, man, what if I fed as many people in 1 year as I'd done in my whole life? I didn't do that on day one, right? This is after building and building and building. And then I thought, what if I did more than that. What if I had 100 million meals in a year? What if I did 100 million meals in a year for 10 straight years and fed 1 billion meals in the United States? And I'm proud to tell you, I did that in 8 years, all starting from nothing, gearing that process up to make it happen. And now, today, it's a bigger problem. Usually 80 million people a year on the verge of dying. Because of the Ukraine war, this year it's 385 million people. And also, usually, we need fertilizer to grow 50% of the world's food supply, and most of it comes from Russia, and so that's been cut off, so the price of fertilizer went through the roof. So there's 11 nations right now that are on the verge of absolute famine. You'll never read about it on the news. They don't care. It's over there in Africa, right? Who cares? I care. So after I did the billion meals, I met Governor Beasley, who's the gentleman who had the UN food program. He won the Nobel Prize for it, and got together, and he told me these new numbers, and I said, that's insane. A child dies every 10 seconds from a lack of food somewhere in the world. It's crazy. And here in America even, we have 30 million people that are food insecure, richest country in the world. So I said to the governor, I said, how many meals do we need over the next 10 years to fill the gap while we're getting sustainable solutions. And he said, Tony, I don't know, 50, 60, maybe even 70 billion meals. I said, what if we do a 100 billion meal challenge? I said, I did 1 billion meals, and when I started, I wasn't a billionaire, but I've been blessed by doing it for those 8 years, 10 years. And so I said, all we got to find is 99 more people like me or organizations. And I'm proud to tell you, we just hit in our third year 60 billion meals, ladies and gentlemen, 60 billion around the world, right? I tell you that because I want you to understand, you know, the concept of compounding, that you can start with something so small, and if you just keep building a little bit, I'll give you a little metaphor. I want you to imagine, anybody play golf out there? Any golfers out there? Like I said, Dean and I barely play golf. We play maybe 6 holes. So if I came to you and I said, hey, we're going to play golf. I said, you know, right before we go to the first hole, I said, just to make it more interesting, why don't we play like 10 cents a hole? And you'll say, okay, there's 18 holes, 10 cents a hole. What's that, $1.80? And then right before you swing, I say, you know, just to make it more interesting, why don't we just double it each hole? You know, the first hole's 10 cents, the next one's 20 cents, the next one's 40 cents, 80 cents. And your brain goes, okay, there's 18 holes. I don't know, that's probably $12, $15. But if you really do it, and you do it on the screen here for you, if you take this little step and you just keep increasing those little steps, this is what I did with my seminar business, right? You get to the 8th hole, after 8 holes, that's halfway through, it's only $12, right? You go to the 9th hole, now you're really halfway through, it's 25. But watch what happens as you keep building over time, because this is what happens in a business as well. It's what people don't understand. It's why they never started. It grows. Watch what happens in the last 3 holes. We go from 400, 800, 1,600, 3,000. Look at 6,000, and then we wind up at 13,000. Go ahead, 100. That's what happens just doubling per hole. How many get it? Make some noise if you get what I'm saying about here. If I showed it to you on a graph, it's kind of like in the beginning of my business, it felt like nothing was happening. It's like grass growing. So here's the exact same graph. At 6 holes, keep going, go to the next one so people see. Halfway through, it looks like nothing's happening. I remember there were points where I was like, I'm working my guts out. I love what I do, but man, I'm only making a tiny amount of money. I'm working so hard, but watch what happens. This is why I've been able to do this with meals. This is the equivalent of meals, equivalent of my business, equivalent of my economics. What happens these last 5 holes? That's what happens, right? And so most people think, I want that giant thing over there. I want $1 million. I want $1 billion. I want this great business. But they never start because like, oh, I'll never get there. You know, I don't have the money to start. I don't have the time. I don't have anything to share. The mind is always looking for how to protect us from not hurting ourselves. But that survival mind's not going to make you succeed, right? You got to step outside of that. And that's how I went from feeding 2 families to 100 billion now we're on track for in less time than I even set up. So I want you to know when you see somebody like Dean or myself, it's like, okay, now I have 114 companies. We do $9 billion in business, and I have no business background, meaning no formal business background. I didn't go to Harvard. I've spoken there multiple times, but I didn't go there. I just learned how to keep increasing a little bit along the way. How many get this? How many understand what I'm talking about here? Right? So, I mean, if you want to say what changes your life, it's decisions. I remember a $35 decision that altered my entire life. I was just a kid. When I was, at home, because we were broke, I went to work, after school every day just to help pay for food. So I got a janitorial job, and I could clean banks, and they didn't pay me by the hour, they paid me for the results. So I was able to do 2 banks, cleaning in the middle of the night, and then come home and get up and go to school. And I was able to double the income by doing it. I loved it. If you work harder and smarter, you could do it. And then I remember one day on the weekends, I was always looking to earn more money because I wanted some money that I might be able to have to go to a dance or something like that during school. And my mom one day said, hey, your dad said there's a guy that's looking for somebody to move furniture on the weekend. He said it'll play well for somebody who's got strong work ethic. And I said, I'm in. So I went to this guy's house. His name was Jim Hanna. And turned out he was buying properties and flipping them in the late 1970s, fixing them up, flipping them, and he'd save money, like he'd hire kids to do the moving, like me. And I worked my tail off. And at the end of the first day, he looked at me and he said, you know, you have an incredible work ethic. He goes, I'm really impressed by you. I'm going to take you to lunch. So he took me to lunch and he asked me a bunch of interesting questions. And I said, can I ask you a couple of questions? Because one thing I left out is my father had said, hey, when you go see that guy, you got to find out what he does. Because, man, he used to be such a loser. And now he's really successful. So I'm a kid, and I said, so can I ask you a question? And I wasn't trying to be cheeky. I just was being honest. And, you know, my dad said you used to be such a loser, and now you're so successful. You know, how'd you do that? How'd you change your life? And the guy's face changed. I thought, uh-oh, I said the wrong thing, right? But then he was really nice. He goes, you know, your father's actually right. I was fat. I was frustrated. I was pissed off with life. I felt depressed. I was broke. I said, well, what changed you? He said, I went to this seminar by this guy named Jim Rohn. And I said, seminar? What's a seminar? I've never even heard of such a thing. And he goes, well, it's where a man takes the best of what he's learned over decades, a man who's really become successful, or a woman, and then they share with you what they've learned so they can save you a bunch of time and a bunch of pain. And in like 3 hours, they teach you like some of the best things they've learned in 20 years to accelerate your success. I said, wow. I said, that's intriguing. I said, could you get me in? He said, yeah. But then he said anything more. And I said, well, will you? And he said, no. And I said, why not? He said, well, because you won't value it if you don't pay for it. I said, no, I'll value it, I promise you. Look, I make $40 a week as a janitor. $35. By the way, that's 1977. So it'd be like, to give you an idea, $250 today, right? I mean, that's a week's pay. I said, you know, I can't just do that. You could get me in, just get me in. He goes, I won't do it. You won't take the same notes, you won't have the same thing if it's free. I said, but I don't have the money. He goes, yes, you have the money, you just don't want to spend it. I said, I can't afford to spend it, it's a week's pay. He said, okay, then don't go and learn all this on your own. Take years of trial and error, lots of pain, and maybe never get there. Or maybe take a week's pay and go learn from somebody who's already done it to save you a ton of time. You could convert decades into days, he said. I didn't make the decision that moment. I fretted about it all weekend long. I kept going back and forth in my head. And early in the next week, and then finally, it was like right before the seminar, I had to make a decision, so I did it. It was the biggest decision I thought of my whole life, right? $35, $250 basically. And it's like, I went there and it changed everything. I listened to Jim Rohn speak for just 3 hours. And I thought to myself, I'm going to pay this guy this money for 3 hours? This is insane, but what if he's right? What if this could change everything in my life that I might never learn if I don't come to a man like this? And I sat there and I took notes like crazy and I answered the questions and people looked at me, I was so animated. And then afterwards I went up to this guy, Jim Rohn, and I said, listen, I really want to come to work for you. I want to live this stuff. I want to work this stuff. I want to do this thing. I shook his hand, I was so aggressive and intense and passionate. And he said, young man, he goes, well, I'm glad to hear that. He said, but to come to work for me, you got to invest in all my products. I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, I have this leadership program and this 2-day thing on time management. The whole thing was, in those days, to give you an idea, $1,200. Well, $1,200, that's about $10,000 in today's dollars. And I'm sleeping in my car because my mom kicked my dad out. She's a pretty powerful lady on Christmas Eve. She chased me out with a knife. She wasn't going to kill me, but I wasn't going back in there. And she kept my 1960 Volkswagen, earned it $40 a week as a janitor. And so I was sleeping on the top of the mountain, and it rained, and I moved into a friend's house and took over their little garage there by their laundry, and I slept there. And that's where I started. And I said, so now I got this car, and I've been sleeping in my car, but I said, your principles are going to change my life. And I said, why don't you just loan me the money, and I'll attend your seminar, and then I'll pay it back, and then you can tell everybody what an example I am. He laughed and said, young man, I'm not your banker. He said, you know what? Everybody gets what they have to have. Some people have to succeed. Some people have to survive. Decide which one you are. And I remember walking away, and I was pissed off. Like, he just wants, I'm a 17-year-old kid. I'm sleeping in my car. This guy wants to get, $1,200 from me, think $10,000 from me? I don't know that kind of money. Is he insane? He just wants my money. And then a part of my voice kept saying, he's right, he's right, he's right. He's right what? And I kept thinking, he said, we all get what we have to have. Some have to succeed, some have to survive. And I thought, I've always gotten what I had to have, like the food I needed or cover the basic thing I need. When I had to do it, I found it. What if I just raise my standard, what I have to do? And so I did. And I went to bank after bank, and long story short, I finally got someone to loan me the money. It's a crazy example. I won't tell you all the details right now, but what I'll tell you is, I went to that seminar, man, I took notes like you can't believe. Like if you said the, I wrote the down, right? It's just like, I figured out every word was worth like 4 cents. I'm not missing a word. I'm not peeing, I'm doing it all, right? And there were people in the room, they could put it on the credit card, it was a piece of cake, because it was everything I had, man, I consumed it all. And I met a friend there named Mike Keys, who's still my best friend. I've known him for 45 years, one of my best buddies. And it's just been wild to see the changes. And Jim Rohn, you started a seminar telling stories about us. So all this has come from this. And by the way, my first seminar, guess how many people showed? It was free. I just wanted to share with people. I made all those brochures. I paid for ads in the newspaper, which is super expensive. I bought a room in downtown LA at the LA Hilton Hotel. And I showed up at 7 o'clock thinking I'm going to have 500 people there. And guess how many people showed up? 7. And they were spread out all around the room in different places. I'm like, why don't you all come down here to the front row, you know? But then you know what I did? I gave my all to these poor 7 people. I mean, 3 hours, I just kept going and giving everything I'd ever learned, right? And that's how I started. But then it grew, and that same little thing I just showed you, it just grew and grew and grew because I kept growing. I wouldn't stop. I kept looking for ways to make it happen. And I did something I learned from Jim Rohn. I learned to work harder on myself than my job. I learned that if I keep getting better, everything will change. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. I remember I went to Jim Rohn when I finally got to know him personally a little bit, and I got a few minutes of his time, and I said, Mr. Rohn, I said, I had 4 fathers. They were all really good people. I mean, good hearts. But we were always broke. We're always looking at where our next meal is going to come from. And why did they fail so much when they were such good people? It seems so unjust. I'm telling you, they're not just because of my father, they're hardworking, good people. And he goes, Tony, that's not enough. I said, what do you mean? He said, and I kept saying, you know, like a school teacher here, I forget it was in those days, like $38,000 a year, and this hedge fund guy made $1 billion last year. That's so unfair. He said, Tony, you're right. We're all equal as souls, but we're not equal in the marketplace. I said, what does that mean? He said, well, think of it this way. He said, is it possible to make twice as much money in the same amount of time? I said, I learned to do that with my janitorial business because I went and did 2 banks. He said, okay, is it possible to make 4 times as much money? Yeah, 8 times, 10 times, 20, 100 times. I said, yeah, I guess there are people that do that. He goes, how? I said, I don't know. He goes, I'll tell you. You have to find a way to do more for others than anybody else in your industry. You have to wait. What he said is add more value. And I said, add more value? He goes, yeah, think about this. If you go to McDonald's and you start to work at McDonald's and people complain it's not a living wage, he said, it's not supposed to be a living wage. It's supposed to be a starter job. Anyone can learn to work at McDonald's in less than an hour. So how much added value is that? And by the way, today they're getting robots. I don't know if you've seen some of them now. Some of these these fast food places are using robots. It's just begun. Because it's not that complex. It's not that valuable. So you make very little money. And he said, you're a school teacher. He goes, how many great teachers do I have? I said, I had a lot of great teachers. He goes, name them. And I could name 3. But I said, they were great teachers. They affected my life. He goes, I agree with you. He said, but there's 2 problems. Most of those teachers did not change your life. Most of those teachers work with a small number of people, and they weren't willing to take any risk. They wanted a guaranteed income, even if they did a lousy job. And that's what they have. That's why most of them don't get better. You had a few great ones. He said, I had a few too. He goes, but they went for no risk, so they got almost no reward. He goes, that guy you're making all the judgments about who made $1 billion last year, what kind of return did he give to his investors? I said, I don't know. He said, I'll tell you. He's very famous. He made 42%. In those days, people are hoping to get 5%. At 42%, you start doubling your money not every 10, 15, 20 years. You double your money every 2.5 years. He goes, that's people's retirements. That's people's college educations. That man made $42 billion so he could make $1 billion for himself. He said, here's what I want you to remember for as long as you live. Do more for others than anybody else. Find a way to add more value than anyone else, and you'll never have to worry about your economics. And more importantly, Tony, you'll have meaning in your life because you won't be someone trying to get, you'll be someone trying to give. It completely changed my life. It shifted me. It's why I'm here today. And I just became obsessed a little bit at a time. And I wasn't skilled when I started. I'd forget everything I was supposed to say and what I was going to do. But I love people. I was committed. I had a mission. I wanted to serve people. And I kept learning and interviewing and growing from people. And I got better and better. And that's how I got here, that little doubling to a different level. So when you see somebody who's at an extraordinary level, you might say, oh, man, they're so lucky or they're so talented. What you didn't see is what was happening behind the scenes to get them there or how long it really took to get there for those people. And by the way, if you're thinking to yourself, like you came here this week and you're saying, okay, I don't know if I could start a business or not. Maybe I can do a little bit on the side, maybe a little side hustle. Maybe I do something that's fun. Maybe do something that's meaningful. I'd like to earn some additional money. A lot of people are worried about inflation. And Warren Buffett has just announced his retirement, one of the greatest investors of all time. But what's really interesting is they asked Warren last year, they said, are you worried about inflation? He goes, well, yes, it's not ideal, but he said, it's not something you need to worry about. They said, what should people do to deal with inflation? He said they should make the most important investment in their life, which, by the way, when I interviewed him years ago, I said to him, what's the best investment you've ever made, the most important investment you ever made? And I thought he was going to say Coca-Cola, because I know all his investments. I study them all. Or Geico, if you know, Geico Insurance is one of his. So he goes, no, Tony. He goes, the most important investment I ever made was what you do. I said, well, I do a lot of things. What are you talking about? He goes, I went to Dale Carnegie. He said, I invested in Dale Carnegie and I learned how to communicate. Everything else that I have would be worthless if I couldn't communicate in a way where people got it. He goes, the investment in yourself is the most important investment. And just last year, in front of the big audience, he said, the most important investment is in yourself. That's how you beat inflation. He said, because number one, when you invest in yourself and you develop more skill, more ability, more understanding, you don't get taxed on that. And it keeps growing. And he said, if you keep investing in yourself, what happens is, he said, if the dollar became worthless and we had seashells, if you're the best web designer, you're the best teacher, you're the best lawyer, you're the best anything, if you're really adding more value, if you're the best at it, if you've developed yourself, you're going to get the most shekels. You're going to have the most of all. You have nothing to worry about. He also said one other thing. Second key to avoiding inflation and having wealth, got to have your own business. But he said very specifically, you need a business with what he calls low CapEx. That might leave some of you go, what the hell is that? All it means is some businesses, capital expenses, they have each year, if you had a business that was let's say a earth moving business, like they have in construction groups, those machines cost about $2 million. And they depreciate, meaning they break down over time. And so if inflation happens and this thing you had is super expensive and you got to replace it, now you're going to have to pay even more money for it. So you need a business that doesn't have a lot of capital expenditure. Well, there's a little industry called the information industry, the self-education industry. When Dean and I first got together to talk about this almost 7 years ago, and we said, gosh, we're going to show people how to do this. Like, well, we've had the privilege to do it. We're going to make it easy for them and save them decades. When we first did it, we realized the business at that point was $365 million a day. Today, to give you an idea, it's $36 billion. It's $365 billion. It's $1 billion a day industry. And it grew massively during COVID, as you might guess. And guess what? Now, the latest statistics say by 2018, so we're talking a few years ahead of us, 3 years ahead of us, it'll be $1 trillion a year industry. And you know why? It takes almost nothing to get started. Anyone can do it. Not everyone's going to succeed. And if you haven't succeeded in the past, I failed a bunch of times in the beginning, it's because I didn't have a good coach. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a guide. I was trying to do it all on my own. That's a disaster. You need someone who's already done it. And I didn't have the right tools. And the tools today are insanely simple. You don't have to be complex. You don't have to be a technology guy to use them. All you got to do is ask a few questions. So the transformation has been incredible. And I'm here to tell you, like I said, we've had 250,000 people now start or take their business next level using our systems. It's pretty awesome, all over the world in 100 countries. But let me just give you like 3 quick examples. So here's an example of Basmia. Basmia's Elbiel, she's from Yemen. We can put her up on the screen so people see a picture of her. In 2015, she arrived from the US and she's making $9 an hour. And she was just doing cleaning jobs to survive, which I could relate to. It's how I started. She didn't know the language. She was afraid of being scammed. She had lots of self-doubt, but she decided to take a leap of faith. And she started teaching herself the tools we have, digital marketing and doing things of that nature. So she built a coaching business to help other people escape poverty because she's been through it herself. And to give you an idea, she's now at a point where she took that business, got it eventually to 10,000. Now it's 20,000 a month. And she has worldwide clients because of the technology we have. Give it up for Basmia, amazing commodity. Here's another example for you. I mean, I could give you hundreds, but I'm going to give you 3 ones just to give you a breadth of people and where they were. So this is Stephen Radins. I hope I'm pronouncing this last name right. I believe I am. He transformed himself from a 12-year opiate addiction, like literally completely addicted. He had ulcers. He lost, I think he told me 40 pounds, if I remember right. And we got him involved in this. He came to one of these events, and then he learned the tools, and he started building this idea of how he got himself out of being addicted to opioids. He called it the happiness effect. And he started building the brand 1 hour a night using our GG. GG is it's our personal AI. It's basically Dean and I put together all that we've ever learned or shared. It's not like ChatGPT where you get a bunch of stuff made up that's not true. It's a closed system, right? So he used it 1 hour a night. It guided him until he started building programs. And now he's got hundreds of students a month that he's teaching how to get through this, overcome addiction. He's transforming people's lives. Give a big hand for Stephen, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful example, right? Real good. Yes. And by the way, Stephen's such a good example, like my own life. Like, most of what I teach is not because I was so bright. Most of what I teach is I screwed something up, right? I had a problem and it drove me crazy. And then gradually I started realizing whatever problem I'm experiencing, lots of other people have too. And if I can take my mess and turn it into my message, if I can figure this out, I can not only help me, but I can help lots of other people. And now, because of the scaling of technology, millions of people. So this is another great example. This is Suzanne O'Brien. She's a former hospice nurse, and she developed this system. She was figuring out how people comfort people going through the process of dying. It's pretty intense. And she tried to teach this set of principles to her employer, and they were not interested in it. So she'd go to these libraries for free and try to get 20 or 30 people to listen for free. And her whole goal was just help people. And then we taught her these tools, and she built this online to 3,000 to 5,000 live attendees a month, ladies and gentlemen. Give her a hand for that. It's unbelievable, right? She's certified over 350,000 people now to do this, and even Buddhist monks in Thailand have learned her work because it's all online for her here. Because of the mass of this, she got a book deal. That's how I did it too, $275,000, and now she's running $1 million business from her home. Give it up for Suzanne. It's so amazing. You're doing what you love, right? So the opportunities are there. Now, we've been sitting for a little bit. One thing I know is if you're going to keep learning, we all get caught up in lowered energy. Like since COVID, people are kind of used to just sitting in front of our screens. So just for a second, before we go, I want to give you 3 keys to break through. And then I want to give you, let's see if we can make a decision or 2 right now today that's going to take your life next level. But to do that, we need more energy. So would you stand up just for a second? Stand up, shake your body out just for a second. Wherever you are, wake it up. Don't let yourself just sit around. Wake it up, wake it up, wake it up. Just for a second, make a sound. Make the sound you make when you're really excited about something. Make a sound of excitement, nice and loud, ladies and gentlemen. Do it again and really enjoy it. Come on, do it again. Now, shake your body out, and I want you to try something with me, a little simple game. How many of you think low energy, you feel like doing nothing? How many would agree? Say aye. High energy, you're going to follow through. So a lot of times we don't realize that we're just like sitting and we think about things. We don't do it because we're not active. When I do seminars with people, whether it be at home like this or anywhere else, especially in a stadium, we have people moving. Can you imagine? You're going to sit for 12 hours a day, but we take people 4 days and nights, 12 hours a day. People didn't want to be there, thought they're there, and they're out of their mind because we get their body in the right place so their mind's in the right place. So just for a second, let's play a little game. Notice somebody on the screen. Stay standing if you would. Notice somebody on the screen, or if there's somebody beside you, you can point at them in the room. But if not, point at somebody on the screen and go, I own you. Go ahead, try it. No, I own you. No, I own you. Now, are there any competitive people out there? If you're competitive, make some noise. Get good. Well, the word competition means, and when you compete with someone, the original Latin term is to conspire with someone. What does that mean? We compete by conspiring to make each other better. In other words, if I push you hard and we're playing basketball, I'm going to make you better. I want you to push me hard so I get better. So we'll just do something real fast with energy. Energy can change in a second if we use our body and our voice. So here's what I want to ask you to do. You're going to say, I own you, and then we're going to count down. We're going to go 1, 2. When I say 3, I'm going to ask you to take your body and jump and celebrate like a little kid. I know it sounds crazy, but not like a boring adult, yay. But like a little kid, like yes, and making the sounds you make, you celebrating just for 20 seconds. Who's want to try this just for a second to wake your nervous system up? Make some noise if you want to go for it. All right? So point at somebody on the screen and go, I own you, baby. No, I own you. All right, here we go. 1, come on, wake that body up. 1, 2, on 3, use your voice, use your body. 3, go, wake it up, wake it up. Somebody go, you rock, so do I. Give him a virtual high five or a fist bump. And then grab a seat, but when you sit down like you're in a peak state, not like you're dragging. Like you're in the command chair of your life. If that feels good, make a fist and say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Now, in this energy, you're going to make different decisions than in this energy, right? And even if you're not going to stay there, if you just snap yourself that place, you're going to have more energy available. So now, real quick, because I have a little time with you today. Normally, I got like 12 hours in a day for 3 or 4 days. Got this tiny bit of time. If you understand decisions change your life, then it might be useful to think of what are some things I've done that have created a breakthrough? Like, how many of you have had something you struggled with for a period of time? You said you were going to do something, said you're going to fall through, said you're going to change it, and you didn't do it, and you disappointed yourself. Who've done this out there? Say aye. If you don't raise your hand, you lie about other things too, don't you? We've all done it. So I just want you to think about a breakthrough is maybe there's something you said you're going to do, you didn't do it, you got upset with yourself, went to go do it again, maybe you procrastinated, but eventually, who's had an experience where you eventually broke through and you just finally handled the situation and you changed it? Who can relate? Make some noise if you have. Right? So, for example, have any of you stayed in a relationship way too long? Where you knew it was wrong, it wasn't good for you, it's not good for them? Who can relate? Who's done this before? Say aye. So why do we stay? Well, we stay because we rationalize. We go, well, it was good before. It'll be good in the future, right? Until one day, when it gets so bad, your brain goes, it's been painful in the past, it's painful now, it's going to be painful ever, I'm out of here. Who's done this before? Who knows what I'm talking about here? Say, So that would be a breakthrough, right? Or you said you're going to stop smoking and you didn't, and finally something pushed you over the edge. So here's what I want to know. Define for me, just put it in the chat box real fast. What do you think a breakthrough is? How would you describe a breakthrough? What is a breakthrough? Throw it up there. I'd like to see your thoughts just for a second. And don't worry about it perfect. A movement, an epiphany, a liberty, a decision. It's a self-discovery. It's a pivot. It's a moment when your life changes. It's cocaine. I don't understand that. Okay, change. Enough is enough. Okay, wow, great answers. Going by so fast now. So here's my definition. I believe, if you'll jot it down, a breakthrough is a moment in time. It's a moment in time when everything changes. Like you've been doing things a certain way, and then one day, your brain goes, not another day, not another hour, I'm done with this crap, and you change. It's the day when what was impossible becomes possible. Can you relate? Who's had a day like this? A situation where finally you hit that moment where you changed? Then here's what I want you to do. Instead of me telling you, if I tell you, you doubt it, but if you tell me, you know it's true. So I want you to answer a couple questions. I want you to write them down real fast. So here they are. First, write down something you struggled with for a while and didn't get the answer, and then finally one day something made you break through. It could have been something in your personal life. It could have been something in your business or career life. And then the second question I have for you is, what triggered you to finally change it in that moment? Like you've been struggling for years. What made that moment different? What made that happen in that moment? You know, did you get so angry? Did you get so sad? Did you meet somebody who was a great example to you of what's possible? Right? Did you get inspired? Right? What triggered you in that moment? Did it get so damn painful you finally had to change it? And the third question I put down for you is like, okay, if that triggered it, then the third part, and you didn't break it up properly, is what made it possible for you to make that change? Because usually what makes it possible is a new belief or a new example, right? Does that make sense? Or a new emotion. Maybe, you got really, really pissed off, or you got really excited. So what was the area you finally broke through? I'm just going to give you 2 minutes to write it down. What's an area in your personal and professional life you struggled, you broke through? What triggered you to change that day? Was it something somebody said? Was it something you said to yourself? Was it you finally hit a threshold, not another day, not another moment? What was it? And then what made it last, right? What made it last? Was it a belief that changed? Like, I can do this. If those idiots can do it, I can do it too, right? Or was it like a new emotion? Was it a new strategy? Someone taught you a way to do it you never knew before. And like, oh my God, I can do that. That's easy. And then the last question is like, how does it make your life better today? How is your life better today because of that breakthrough? So I'm just going to give you 2 minutes, put a little music in the background there for you. What's the breakthrough? What triggered it? What made it possible? And then most importantly, how is your life better today than before? Someone can put the third question up there. That'd be great. What made it possible, not what made it last. Let's just separate those two up. And write with some passion as you think about it. Like, that's pretty cool. I've struggled with this for so long. And then one day, what made me change that day, that moment, even though I tried so many times before? What pushed me over the edge? And what made it possible? Was it a new belief, a new emotion? Did I have a new strategy? Like I figured an easy way to do it, or a way I thought would work? I saw a great example? How's your life better? If you got the answer, some of you are already doing it, throw it in the chat. I'd love to see. Thank you. End of a toxic relationship. It was too much pain. I finally hit the edge. I decided I'm going to change this now. I built a strong relationship with myself, and now I have a strong relationship with a woman in my life. Very nice, sir. I was at the point of exhaustion, could no longer do it this way. I didn't care. I had to change. I was a photojournalist, and I learned that there was a new job offer and they showed me a new way to do things that made a new possibility for me. I was a homeless single mom, thank you, Denise, with a newborn, and that made me strong. For my child, I did it. I went to a Tony Robbins seminar, that's good. Okay. I quit enabling bad behavior. I lost 20 kilos. I got scared and saw a new example that inspired me. I found a new strategy for eating. It changed my whole life. Good job. Katrina, nice job. That's great. About a minute left, or 30 seconds to a minute left. That's it. So many great examples. I can't read them, they're going by so fast. I prayed more. I stopped what I was doing. Here we go. Made it possible in a relationship. Self-love, my mindset. I turned pain into power. Beautiful. Great job, guys. It's fantastic. I learned to speak up. I was extremely shy. The pain was so much I finally spoke up. Very nice. Beautiful. 30 seconds. Nice, nice, nice. Perfect. Okay. I'm curious. How many of you, by show of hands, if you would, a little noise, if you would, how many of you, the thing that finally got you to change was enough pain? You got tired of it, frustrated, pissed off. Make some noise if pain was what you used to change. Make it nice and loud. How many of you, it was more pleasure, like you saw a new example, a new possibility? Make some noise if that's what made it happen for you. Most people wait till they get enough pain to finally push off, but then some people never get enough pain, so they don't change. What I've learned to do is how to bring pain as like a friend. And this is not going to happen anymore. I'm not going to put up with this stuff. Set a new standard. But then often it's a new emotion that made it possible, or a new belief because I saw an example of someone else. That's the kind of thing that happens. But I can give you right now, for time's sake, I spent my whole life trying to take complex things and make them simple enough people actually do them. When I started my career, I made things more complex to prove to myself I was so smart. What an idiot, right? But that's what most of us do. But I learned something early on. You might want to write this phrase down. I started realizing complexity is the enemy of execution. I'll say it again. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Most people don't do things because they make it so complex in their mind, right? And it's so complex in their mind, it's like, oh, I can't even start. You know, it's like, oh, I'm going to work out. Oh, that's too much. Trying to work out, man, I have to go find a place, and then I have to go interview the people, and then I got to go, go try out their machines, and then they're going to have to explain to me and sell me a pitch for 6 months or years with this damn thing, and then I got to go work out, and then I got to sweat, and I got to take a shower, and then I got to get cleaned up, and I got to fix my hair, and then I got to, get the things so I get my parking validated, and I got to drive away. That's how they chunk working out. What does it take to eat? They go, you just go eat. Right? So many things we don't do because of the way we chunk it in our heads. How many follow what I'm talking about here? Say I. So what I want to give you is a shortcut here. If you want to create a breakthrough, you don't just want to learn something. You want to create a real change. There's 3 things you need. They all start with S. Now I'm going to give them to you real fast in reverse order. Meaning I'm going to start with the least important one. But why would I do that if it's the least important? Because it's the one everybody looks for. So what's the first thing? When things aren't the way you want, your body's not where you want, your relationship's not there, your income's not there, the first thing most people look for is a strategy. When we can think of strategy as how. Like, how do I do this? And most people think whatever the strategy is, they make it more complex than it really is. That's why they don't do anything with it. Or they say, I don't know how to do this. Write down this phrase. Never let the tyranny of how stop you. Never let the tyranny of how stop me. See, I realized years ago, I don't know if you've ever done this, I set this big goal, I'm going to go do this, and I'm all excited. And then my brain would go, who are you kidding? Right? Who knows what I'm talking? Who's done this? Make some noise if you've done this in your own life, right? Right? And the reason is because your brain goes, I don't know how to do this. I've never done it before. And so the problem with starting with how or strategy is it feels like I don't know what to do, so we don't do anything. Or it feels so complex because we don't understand it because we've never done it before. When you talk about doing something you've never done before, starting a business, growing, whatever, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I'll have to go find that strategy. Even if you get the strategy, if that's all you get, you will not succeed. one of the reasons we built what we do here in our company to help people is we understood people need the best strategies. But if you don't change the other two things, they won't follow through. And this is why I have so much success in our lives for the people we've helped. So think of a strategy like most people from all over the world. We have people from 100 countries. But in America, we're the fastest we've ever been. 2/3 of America is overweight. 2/3. In fact, the fastest growing group in America, weight-wise, is people over 100 pounds overweight. That's the fastest growing group in America. And it's even more for men than women today, to give you an idea. It's insane. And by the way, what we've done, we're spreading around the world. You're seeing this all over the world now. Not as bad as America, but all around the world. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, to have that many people be that overweight, and people say they want to feel good. They say they want to be fit. They want to be strong. Are they not fit because they can't figure out the strategy? Because the strategy of being fit or strong or energetic is so complex that only the most intelligent people on earth can figure this out. No. Is it because it's so expensive to get your body in shape? No. Is it because only those who have the key secrets can get there? No. In fact, it's hard to miss the stuff that could change your body. It's everywhere, isn't it? I mean, how close to your home is a place where someone could train you and work you out at a gym? Most people within 5 or 10 miles, right? Max, right? So we better drive there, right? So, but think about this just for a second. Think about how silly this is. Or you could get a trainer, or if you have no money, you can download 1 million programs right off the web, free programs, or you could download a book onto your iPad to guide you. Is there any lack of strategy on how to be fit and strong? Yes or no? Give me a, hell no. It's so easy. But we don't do it because it's not the strategy usually. No, don't get me wrong. Sometimes people have the wrong strategy. If you're trying to start your own business and you don't know the things that we know because we spent 6 years between us, then yeah, you're probably going to make a lot of mistakes and you could go out of business. Most businesses don't make it. But if you know what to do, you can save yourself enormous time, enormous energy. But even with the right strategy, we found that's not enough. The real problem is you have a story if you're not getting what you want. A story, a limiting story. Like people say, I'm overweight because I'm big boned. That's what I used to say. I'm big boned. That's why I'm 38 pounds heavier. Now that was, 40 years ago, and I've never gained the weight back. I have the same bones, right? But that's what I told myself, right? It's like, I've tried everything. That's what people say. That's their story. And I say, no, if you tried everything, you'd be fit and healthy and strong. I've tried millions of approaches and none have worked. Millions? Name them. Well, I've tried thousands, name them. Well, I've tried hundreds, name them. Well, I did do these 3 stupid things that don't work over and over again. How many follow here? Make some noise if you follow me on this, ladies and gentlemen. So the story is what gets in the way of even finding the strategy. In fact, have you ever been with somebody? I'll give you an example from my youth. I remember I was sitting down or having a meal and I'm starving and my mom says to me, "Hey, could you get me the salt?" And I'm just had my first bites of food. I'm just a kid. I'm like, I don't know where the salt is. I'm not lying. I don't know the exact GPS location of the salt, right? She goes, you know where it is. It's in the kitchen. Go get me the salt. But I don't know. Go get me the salt. And what am I saying? I don't know where the salt is. I don't know where the salt is. I don't know where the salt is. I look around, open the cover, look up and down. It's not here. My mom says, it's on the second shelf. I don't know where the salt is. I'm saying, I don't know where the salt is. It's not here. She walks over right in front of my face and goes, what is this? Who's had one of these experiences knows what I'm talking about. Make some noise if you know what I'm talking about, right? So when we have a limiting belief, it creates what's called a scotoma in psychology, a blind spot. Have you ever been with somebody, they said they want your help, and then you start to try to help them, and then they get mad at you? That's not going to work. It's because their story controls them. There's an old phrase that says, if you tell a lie big enough, long enough, loud enough to enough people, sooner or later people believe you. You know who said that? Goebbels, Hitler's guy who created propaganda. Hitler's idea. Now, most of us are Hitler to ourselves. We tell ourselves like, yeah, but I don't have the time. The biggest thing I used to tell myself, I don't have time. You know what I do with people on time now? I don't have time for my business. I don't have time to start something. I don't have time for anything. I know you're busy, but then I say, can I borrow your phone? People look at me kind of funny. And if you have like an Apple phone especially, you can search down and it shows how much time you spend on social media this day and this week and this month. Here's the numbers. Throw them up for people. These are the average. Most people check their phones an average of 58 times a day, glancing at their phone. And they spend an average of 2.5 hours a day on social media. That's 16 hours a week. That's 67 hours a month. And if you're not spending 2.5 hours, someone else is spending more, right? That's what's so crazy. You can start multiple companies on that kind of number of hours. How many follow me on this? Say aye. But when your story is, I don't have the time, or I don't have the money, or I have nothing to share, that's all the things that keep people. It's the limiting story. Now, you can show them the best strategy on earth, they're not going to do it. They're going to, maybe, it's like people buy a book and they never read it. It looks good on their shelf. The book has the answers, but their story is, I'm so busy, I don't have time for this now, right? Or I'll read it later. But the real secret to changing your life is the first S, and that is the state you're in. The mental, emotional state. And this has been my expertise over the decades. What I realized was that the state I'm in controls everything. It controls my story. Have you ever been really pissed off at somebody and you're so angry that suddenly in that moment you remember everything they've ever done that ever pissed you off? Make some noise if you know what I'm talking about. Come on, if you know what I'm talking about there, ladies and gentlemen, right? Or if you're totally in love, what happens when you're in a state of total love? Who here has ever fell head over heels in love, out of your mind in love? Make some noise. Some of you look on your face, looks like it's been a while. Now, do me a favor, just for fun. Make the sound, I know it sounds weird, make the sound you make if you're totally in love. A sound that represents that. Go make a sound of it. Go ahead. Some of you, it's been a while. Let's try that again. How about if you're totally in love and in lust? You can't stop thinking about the person. You want to be with them. You want to make love to them. Make that sound. Go. That was much better. That was louder and it lasted longer. That's a good sign, right? So, but if you're totally in love with someone, what will you do for them? What will you do? Anything, right? It's not a trade. Well, if you do this, then I'll do that. When you get in a relationship and it starts being a trade, you're out of state. Now it's a transaction. That relationship's going down. But if you're totally in love with somebody and they go, could you take out the trash? You go, take out the trash? Of course. Whatever I can do for you. What else can I do? Right? How many know what I'm talking about here? Right? What else can I do for you? Right? But after 7 days, or 7 weeks, or 7 months, or 7 years, or 70 years, somewhere between 7 hours and 70 years, your brain goes, you go, can you take out the trash? What do I look like, your janitor? I don't know what it was. You used to have so much passion. Where did it go? Your state controls your story. Your story controls whether you actually find the strategy, much less use it. Even if you have a great state of mind and you feel strong and you're driven, you know how to put yourself in that place, which is what we do, train people to do, and you come up with a true story of what's possible, and you have the right strategies, and you got a guide, you're going to win. How many follow this? Say aye. So anything in the future you want to create a breakthrough in, don't start with a strategy, because if you've never done it before, you don't know how, you go, oh, it won't work. Start with your state, and then you'll come up. Because, by the way, when you're in love, what's wrong with life? What's wrong? Nothing. We have no money. Doesn't matter. We're in love, right? Your state controls your story, and your story determines whether you find or create the strategy, and that determines your results. So how many think you could use this in your own life? How many got an area where it might be good to change your state and your story, right? Right? And certainly you want to do that around, if you're going to start a business, listen, I can teach you the best strategies. Between Dean and I, we know them. It's not like we're so smart. It's just we got 76 years between us, and we've become the best in the industry in the world, literally in the world. I know that sounds very humble, but it's the truth, right? Who else does events of our size and scope? No one. But it's because we figured a way to add more what? Value, do more for others than anybody else. That's the only way you really become successful. But you can start with anything. You can start with some mess you got that becomes your message, some problem you had, or you can start like I did, be like a reporter Or I went and interviewed other people and I figured out what do they do, and then I shared what I learned from them. I wrote a little book about it, and I self-published initially. Today, though, I mean, with AI, it's ridiculous. I don't mean ChatGPT where it makes shit up all the time. It's horrible. I remember one time I went on ChatGPT not long ago when I was there, and I was like, oh, well, my team was going to put together a new list of quotes from, leaders that have endorsed my work, and from Oprah Winfrey to, the best business people on the face of the earth. And so I said, well, make a list of people that endorsed Tony Robbins, and made this huge list. And one of them was Elon Musk, and I was like, I've never really worked with Elon. Wow, maybe because sometimes I don't work with people directly; they learn my work. And then I found out it was totally made up. It made up a quote from Elon. It's like, I can't have that kind of crap. So you need a closed unit. It can't just be the general piece, and that's what we built. Now, to finish up, gosh, I'm almost out of time here. I think I told you what changes your life is not information, right? What creates a breakthrough is decision. Now, how do you know if it's a decision? You get yourself to act on it right away. If you make a decision, you don't act on it, you make a decision in the moment, but it doesn't follow through. It's like you got to decide and you got to commit to do something while you're in state, while you're feeling strong. If you don't do it, you'll say you're going to do it, later on you'll drift off. So let's make a couple decisions. And to do this, though, let's get in a strong state. Would you stand back up just for a second? Stand back up just for a second. Shake your body out. We're going to wrap up in a second. I'm going to bring you back to Dean, but I want to do one thing with you first. I'm going to show you how to, first of all, a couple of the quick decisions. I'm going to show you who's ever gotten stuck. Like it feels like, man, I just can't get myself to do this. Who's been in that place or stuck in a mad place? So we're going to do two things. We're going to answer a couple questions from peak state, make a couple decisions, and then I'm going to take you through this little 6-minute process of how to get unstuck, okay? So first, shake your body out. Make a move that makes you feel strong. Make a move. Do something with your body that makes you strong. Wake that body up out there, ladies and gentlemen. Wake it up again just for a second. Wake that body up. Wake it up. Wake it up. There's so much. Yes. All right, shake your body out, feeling nice and strong. And I know you're standing, but if you have a pen and paper, you can do this. Or first, you can just do it in your mind, and then we can write it on your computer if you want. Stand nice and strong. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Notice how it feels when you say yes. Feels pretty strong. Now, say no and see how it feels. Say no. Say no. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Which one feels better, yes or no? No feels like you're burping, right? But most of us have been trained to say no. You walk into a clothing store and someone says, "Can I help you?" What do you say? "No, I'm just looking." "No shit, you're looking. What do you want?" Right? Right? So I want you in that kind of yes state to do this. I want you right now to think of one decision around your career, around your income, around starting a business, around whatever it is you want. And I want you to decide something you want to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months, 18 months max. It could be a certain amount of money you want to earn. It could be having a certain number of clients. It could be starting a business and starting to grow it. Any target you want. But I want to pick something that feels strong and would excite you. Now, not something like, I'm going to make $1 billion and you haven't made $1 million, right? Might want to start a little less. But in the next 6, 12, 18 months, if you really focused and you had a great coach and you had great tools that could accelerate things massively, what would you ideally achieve? Would you have a business on the side here that produced a certain amount of income? Would you do something full time and you'd be excited about it? Who would you touch? What kind of impact would you have? Just think what that is. How many can think of a goal that would excite you, that you know if you worked your tail off would be achievable and would excite you? Raise your hand if you got one you can think of. Okay? Stay standing if you would. Write it down or type it down on your computer, but I want you to stay standing because you stay in a strong place. So just write it down. What's that goal for your business? Something you want to achieve, something you want to accomplish in the next 6, 12, or 18 months? Something that would excite you. Something that would get you up early and keep you up late for that. Like my teacher, Jim Rohn, used to say, your goals affect you, whatever they are. If your goal is to just get by, that's all you're going to do. If your goal is to transform your kids' lives, that's different. Your goal is to make X amount of money. Whatever it is, it affects you. So let's come up with one that excites you. One that's truly achievable if you busted your tail, but also would excite you. You'd feel proud of yourself. You'd feel grateful. And then I want you to put the second thing I want you to do is write down, why is it a must for you? Because most people set a goal and it's a should. Like, I'd like to do this. I want to do this. But as Jim Rohn taught me, everybody gets what they have to have. Why is this a have to for you? Why is it a must for you? If you achieve this in the next 6, 12, 18 months, how will it change your life? How much more freedom would you have? How much more joy? How much autonomy to do things your way? What would you be able to do for your friends or your kids or your family? What would be fun? What would you be proud of? Why is it a must for you to follow through, not just a should for you to get this goal? One thing my teacher Jim Rohn taught me years ago is that reasons come first, answers come second. If you get strong enough reasons to do anything, then you can get yourself to figure out how to do it. You need a big enough why, and you'll figure out how. And then the third question real quick is this, like, what's kept you from changing or doing this in the past? What's held you back? Has it been a limiting belief? Has it been a bad habit? Has it been just putting it off, procrastinating? And what do you need to change right now? What's kept you from doing this in the past? What belief, what old habit, what limit? What needs to change right now? What needs to change now? That if you changed it, you get new momentum. All right? New momentum, be fantastic. You feel great. Feel that. And once you got what happened that stopped you and what you're going to do different, then write down the last step. I know I'm doing this fast. What's 1 or 2 actions you could take right away, like today, tomorrow, this week, tonight, that would start moving you forward? Because remember I said if you make a decision, you set a goal, while you're in state, you got to do something that commits you to follow through. Is there someone you can call? Is there a meeting you could set? Is there a class you can enroll in? Is there a friend you need to sit down with? Like, what's something you could do right away that would be just a small step, but by doing it, it means you're on the path. Your brain knows you mean it. I'm going to make this happen. Is it brainstorming the start of your company? What is it? What is that 1 or 2 things to get you going? Just to get going, get some initial momentum. You know, I often tell people, we've all seen the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and I don't just mean money. Did you ever notice that happy people tend to get more happy, angry people get more angry, sad people get more sad? That's called momentum. You change your momentum, and what's hard to do is easy. All right? How many of you got a good goal? You know why it's a must for you? You know what needs to change? You got some good actions. Make some noise if you got that. Good. We got about another 30 seconds. Keep it going, and make it feel good in your body. Make it feel strong in your body when you think about it. And then think about that goal and what it's going to be like. Think about what you'll be able to achieve in 6, 12, 18 months. Think about how that's going to feel. I think about how it's going to feel even taking this initial action to get it going. And just about 20 more seconds, and then we're going to, just in our bodies, we're going to train our nervous system, going to celebrate like it already happened. I know it sounds silly, but that's how you connect your brain to go, I really want this. All right? Finish up. And then when I say now, we're going to go 3, 2, 1, and I want you out loud, celebrate. I want you to imagine you achieved this. It's even better than you imagined, and you're celebrating like it's already done. Ready? 3, 2, 1, celebrate your body like you just achieved this thing, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, celebrate your body, make it happen. That's it, come on. Now stay standing for a moment, shake your body out, make a move that makes you feel strong. Say yes, say yes, say yes. Now, in this state, I want to give you one last thing. I'm out of time here, but I want to give you a tool, because how many have ever gotten stuck? You start doing something and you miss it. Who's gotten stuck? Or have you ever done this? Have you ever overreacted to something, like to your kid or somebody else, and you overreact to the situation? It's not a good situation, but you overreact and you feel bad about it. Who's done this before knows what I'm talking about, right? The reason you overreact is you're not reacting to this moment. You're reacting to the fact that it happened again. You know what I mean? I call it stacking or flooding. Most people have stacked all their failures or all the times they didn't follow through. And if you do it over and over again, you literally feel overwhelmed. Or if you get stuck, you're thinking of all the things you screwed up, one after another after another. But you know, you can also stack the positive and change your entire biochemistry in a couple of minutes. In fact, let me show you real fast. There's a group called Heart Math you may have heard of. It's pretty rare, most people know. Anybody heard of Heart Math out there? A few of you? A couple of you maybe. And so they got nominated for a Nobel Prize for an insight they had. You know, we can measure the brain waves, the activity in your brain and the activity in your heart electronically. You've been to a hospital, I'm sure you've seen an EKG and an EGG. Those measure the electrical impulses. So watch this on the screen. This is a real person. When a person is in a frustrated state, overwhelmed state, you'll notice the red is the heart waves, the blue is the brain waves. And you'll notice there's no relationship. They're all over the place. In these states of frustration, people tend to get sometimes in car accidents. If they're in a relationship, they say stuff that once you say it, it's hard to take back, messes things up, right? It's not a good state to be in. But you can go from that state. This is a real person we're showing the graph on. This is a person who spent 2 minutes focusing on their heart. What I mean by focus is if you imagine focusing on your breathing and you put your hands on your heart, your focus is on your heart. Where focus goes, energy flows. And if you see here, this is that same person focusing on their heart, and then this is what we're going to do in a moment. They're thinking of 3 things they really felt grateful for, or they appreciated, or they felt loved with. And when they do that for 3 minutes, the heart resets the brain and they align. And you'll see on this graph here, they literally look like they're unified, and that's what's called a flow state. How many of you have ever been in a state where you couldn't remember your own cell phone number or how to spell a difficult word like the, right? Who knows what I'm talking about here? Make some noise if you've had that, right? I call that a stupid state, right? But then you move around and you remember, don't you? Well, how many have ever gotten a state where things just flowed for you, where you didn't have to think about it? You're like playing a game like tennis and swung perfectly. You're talking and it just flowed out of you, where you did better than you've ever done, where you impressed yourself. You're like, I did that. That was me, right? Who's done this? Who's ever done that? Impressed yourself. Done really well, right? Well, when your heart and brain are unified, it produces that flow state. So let's try it real fast. I'm going to show you how to get rid of a negative that's stressing you out. So here's what we're going to do real fast. I want you right now to think of some unfinished business in your life. When I say unfinished business, I mean, how many of you have something in your life that you need to do, but you got so much going on in your life, it's too stressful to even think about it, you just keep putting it off. It may be somebody you got to fire in your business, it might be somebody you got to deal with your kid or in your relationship, or maybe something within yourself. But it's to think about it is just too much, too stressful, so you put it off. Who can think of something like that in your life, some unfinished business? Raise your hand if you got that, so I know you got some there, right? Awesome. Here's what I want you to do. Just for a moment, if you were to focus on what you're not doing in that area and how stressful it is, if you really to feel it, right now you feel pretty good, but if you really focus on it, how much stress would it prove 0 to 10? 10 is stressed out completely, 0 is no stress. Give it a number. And ideally, think of something that was at least a 7, 8, 9, or a 10, at least a 7, 8, or 9, because if it's a 1 of stress and we change it, you'll barely notice. How many can think of something that needs to be dealt with, but if you really focus on it, makes stress in the 7, 8, 9 range? Make some noise, you got that. Okay? I want you to let go of it just for a moment, and we're just going to do this for 2 minutes, all right? I want you to take both your hands, put them on your heart, physically touch your heart. And then I'd like, if you would, ideally standing, because when you're sitting, you cut off half your energy. So if you're sitting, I'd encourage you to stand up if you would. Touch your heart with both your hands. Close your eyes if you want. And breathe deeply into your heart, where you feel like the blood with every breath flowing into your heart, where you can feel the strength of your heart, where you can feel the power of your heart. That's it. And as you breathe deeply in your heart, think about the fact that how do we know when we're alive in our mother's womb? We know it because there's a heartbeat, right? When the heart starts beating, that's when you're given the gift of life. You know what's amazing? You didn't have to prove you were worthy of life, did you? You didn't have to achieve anything. Something loved you enough to give the gift of life, and it comes in the form of a beating heart. When the heart stops beating, life on this planet ends. So breathe in your heart, touch your heart, and pour gratitude into your heart that works 24 hours a day, whether you give it love or not, whether you notice or not. It works when you're sleeping. It pumps literally through 60,000 miles of blood vessels that are inside you. It beats 100,000 times a day. Your heart has power. So as you focus on your heart and your gratitude for your heart, I'm now going to ask you to think of 3 moments in your life, any moment at all that you felt really grateful for. But the way I want you to think about it is not, if I said to you, have you ever been on a roller coaster? And you go, oh yeah, I remember that. And you imagine yourself in the distance, seeing yourself on a roller coaster. That's not what I want. I want you to imagine you're going over the front edge. But in this case, it's moments you were grateful. So think of a moment now. One moment, it could have been when you're a kid, it could be today, it could be 10 years ago, it could be 10 minutes ago. Think of a moment you could feel really grateful for. It could be the birth of a child, the meeting of a dear friend, or the meeting of the love of your life. It could have been a moment you were proud of yourself, you achieved. Pick a great moment you're grateful for and step in your body like you're there, like literally you're back in your body looking at your own eyes in the moment you were so grateful. And you're seeing what you saw then. Breathe the way you were breathing when you felt so grateful in that moment. That's it. Hear what you heard, either what someone said to you or what you thought in your own head when you felt so grateful, so appreciative. And what's the look on your face when you're filled with gratitude, or joy, or love? Breathe that way, feel that way, fill up like every cell and nerve in your body is filled with the grace of that moment. You're doing great. Perfect, perfect. Just breathe it, feel it, enjoy that memory like you're there, feeling your body filled up with gratitude. Why gratitude? Because the 2 emotions that mess us up are fear and anger. Fear is why we don't do things. Anger is what messes up things. But you can't be fearful and grateful simultaneously. You can't be angry and grateful simultaneously. That's why we're using gratitude. Breathe in and feel that moment like you're filling up with so much gratitude, flooding your body with it. Now think of a second moment you could feel grateful for. Let's stack it. What's another moment you could feel so grateful for if you wanted to? It could be a little moment or a big moment. I was proud and grateful. I was one of the 10 Lords of Leaping in the first grade Christmas play. I felt grateful and proud when I was working with the President of the United States at Camp David. It could be a little thing, it could be a big thing. Step in and feel another moment of such gratitude, such grace, or such love. Feel it. Live it like you're there. Beautiful, beautiful. Fill up your whole body with that energy, that feeling of gratitude for grace of that moment. And then do one more. Think one third moment. It could be a little one or a big one, long ago or recently. Another moment you could feel really grateful for if you wanted to. Step in that moment right now. Feel it. Feel it. Breathe it. Enjoy it. Feel like you're there. See what you saw through your own eyes like you're there. Hear what you heard or what you said to yourself. Breathe where you're breathing when you're filled with gratitude, joy, love, appreciation. As you feel that now, just feel all 3 of those moments exploding in your body, filling every cell, every nerve in your body with gratitude, appreciation, or joy. And now just for a second, with your eyes closed, take your right hand and reach out as if you're grabbing a moment, another moment from your life. Take a moment you were proud of yourself. Some people are afraid to be proud. I don't mean ego proud, fake pride when you didn't do something. We've all done things at times that are hard, and we're proud we did it. Take a moment you were proud of yourself, a little one or one, bring it to your heart and say yes as it touches your heart. That's it. and feel that like you're living it again. And then we're going to do a bunch of these real quick. Reach out and grab another moment in your life that you felt proud or you achieved something small or big, but you, 10 Lords of Leaping, that felt cool. Bring that in and go, yes. Now reach out and think of a beautiful time with family or friends that you cherish. A beautiful moment with family or friends. Bring that in, yes, on top of the other one. And bring in another beautiful moment with family or friends and go, yes. Now bring in a moment that made you laugh out loud. You ever laugh so hard that whatever you're drinking, milk, whatever, exploded out of your nose because you were laughing, right? Did you ever laugh so hard you coughed? Think of some time when something so stupid happened, either something you did that was so stupid or silly or someone else did where you just laughed out loud. Grab that moment, bring it in, yes. And feel that huge laughter or smile inside you. Grab another funny moment, a crazy moment, yes. Reach out and grab a romantic moment or a sexy moment or a sensual moment. Or if you've never had one, make one up and go, yes. Think of another romantic moment, bring it in and go, yes. Now try this. Take a moment from your future as if God was giving you a trailer of the movie of your future. Find a moment in the future you're going to be proud of yourself. And bring that into your heart and go, yes, and feel it like it's happening. Think of another moment in the future you're going to be proud of yourself. You're going to achieve something that feels good. Bring it in and go, yes. Think of an exciting moment for your future, something that's going to excite you. Bring it in and go, yes. Think of a romantic or sexy moment in your future. Bring it in and go, yes. Bring in a laughter moment for your future and go, yes. Now, for 10 seconds, bring in any moment you want from the past or the future. Just go, yes, bring in yes. Any good moment, like stacking great moments. Yes, yes, yes. Keep going. You got 10 seconds. Go, 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 go. That's it. Keep going, keep going, keep going. That's it. That's it. Keep going, keep going, keep going. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Now, make the sound out loud of what your life feels like. Explode with sound. What does it feel like? Make a sound what it feels like. That's it. Like a celebration of your life. Make the sound of what your life feels like. Feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it. Keep making that sound. Make the sound that feels so good. Feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it. Awesome. That's it, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. That's awesome. Feel it, own it, live it. Beautiful, beautiful. Yes. How many of you thought of some things you've not thought about for a long time that are beautiful? Make some noise if you thought of it. Now, by the way, before I leave you, let's use it real fast, not just to feel good in this moment. By the way, if you stack enough of these things, you might feel good 10 hours from now, 7 hours from now. If you stack the negative, you won't even know why you're pissed off all the time. And that's what we do most days. We stack the negative. We see the news, all comes at us. Your job is take back control. Who likes this feeling inside your body here? Say, ah. So now, touch your heart again. Breathe, just to finish, breathe. Feel that great energy inside you. And while you're doing it, think of the thing that used to stress you so much. But don't go into your head. Stay in your heart and finish this sentence. The thing that was so stressful, that unfinished business, I want you to breathe in your heart, feel all these great feelings, and just finish this sentence from your heart. All that stressful thing that used to stress me so much, all I need to remember, all I need to focus on, all I really need to do is what? And then first answer comes from your heart. That's the answer. Breathe in your heart around the thing that used to stress me. All I need to remember, all I need to focus on, all I really need to do in that situation is what? And your heart has the answer now because your brain and heart are unified. One more time. All I need to remember about that situation, all I need to focus on, all I need to do is what? Raise your right hand nice and high if you already have the answer from your heart. If you know what you need to do to get out of that stress from now on. Awesome. Give everybody a hand. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be able to share with you. Thank you so much. God bless you all, everybody. I'll see you in 3 days. I'll see you in 3 days. Pass it about to you, dude. Love you, brother.
watching Tony for 28 years and my dearest friend for well over a decade, I still sat here with tears running down my face. My wife did the whole exercise with me. And then as soon as the camera came on, I'm like, say hi to everybody. She ran off. But still to this day, the lessons that man has taught us allow us to be that version of ourselves that's not afraid, that can be bold, that are not going to miss out on opportunities. So I hope you carry that with us through the whole 3 days. And remember, this is only day one. Now, I know we went a little long today, but was it worth it? Raise your hand if it was worth it that we went a little long today. I only got 5 more minutes, so we're going to end this day, and I'm going to make sure you do whatever it takes. I'm going to bribe you. You need to be here tomorrow, because tomorrow is the next best day where we tie it all together and show you how to find those people that want what it is you have, how to get them to say yes through service. You can't miss a second. Now just think about the journey we were on today, right? We discovered why this, why now, why this industry is for us. You thought through where you could find some information. Who recognized some skills that would be valuable to other people, right? You thought about your ideal client, that little niche, that little dot. Then you guys shared on how you would deliver it. You played with the solution statement. You guys built some teaching topics. So many of you got Gigi. Great. You can have fun with her tonight, right? How about Jillian? Was that a great interview with Jillian to see we all have those same feelings? I see Emily. I see Angelica, right? We all have those same feelings. We got to fight through it. We can't let that feeling stop us. Like she said, the only thing different are those who make it, those don't. Just keep going. Find that excuse. And of course, Tony. I mean, again, it doesn't matter how many times I see that man. I still am a student. I was pulling in and thinking of my little boy, my little girl, my little boy, all 4 of my kids being born, doing it with my wife. Just amazing, right? We talked about the difference between state, story, and strategy, and in the right order. Again, and this is only day one. Who's all in for being here tomorrow? Not only am I going to share what I think my greatest secret is, the partnership that Tony and I have, he is the best in the world, what he does by far. What I'm going to share tomorrow, I think I'm the best. And that's why our partnership is so good. We're going to show you the secrets to get people to say yes through service, how to find people, and how to build this business even if no one knows your name. Tomorrow is crucial, so set it in your phone. Plus, we have Jay Shetty, his wife Roddy Delvucchia Shetty. We got Matthew McConaughey going to be here tomorrow. All people that took their life experience and entered our industry. And it is going to be an amazing day. Before we go, less than 5 minutes left before we wrap up for the day, I got a little challenge for you tonight, and I'll even give you a little bribe. Tomorrow, I'm going to give away 4 VIP tickets to Tony and I's event at the end of July called our World Summit. We love this event. Oh my God. Hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world. That event in July is, instead of 3 hours a day, it's about 8 hours a day. We go really deep in that event. VIP tickets, about $500. It's $497. So I'm going to bribe you. We're going to give away 4 of those tickets tomorrow. And here's your homework, okay? Your homework is this. When we're done today, the session's going to be over in a few minutes, I want to challenge you to go inside the Facebook group and share your solution statement. I help blank with blank. And if you want a little extra, you could share what you liked today, what the negative belief you used to have in your new and your old one and your new one and what you're going to do. But if you just show that you're an action taker, remember, you didn't have to pay to be here today. So if you'd like to give a little back, stretch yourself. If you've never been live before, oh my God, what an amazing group to do that. So simple as this, go to the Facebook group, and create your solution statement, share your solution statement. If you want to play with Gigi, I just want to make sure you guys know, you have the opportunity to still go grab Gigi until midnight till tonight. You can have fun. You get a whole 30 days for the buck. We'll donate that $1 to Feeding America. Hey, cool update the team just shared with me. We just passed 1 million meals for Feeding America. Is that really cool? That means from your $1, because we're donating that $1 and we're matching that $1, Tony and I are matching it, we just passed 1 million meals. So when we do good, we can do well for other people as well, which is awesome. So tonight, here's what I'd suggest. Take it in. Whatever part of you that impacted you, go through your notes. Don't let this momentum fade. Don't feel, hey, I feel good. Feeling good is great. But as Tony says, stay in that moment. Take an action. Tonight, lay out your 6 teaching points. Name the product tonight. Again, if you got Gigi, play with Gigi. Do Q&A. She'll ask you questions. You ask her. But if not, do it on a piece of paper. Keep this momentum alive. Go to bed tonight feeling good. Wake up tomorrow. Be here on time. And we're going to knock it out of the park. Tomorrow is, I love today. Tomorrow's the next best day, and you're not going to want to miss a second. So in 10 minutes here, for those of you in VIP, in 10 minutes now, we'll come back. We'll do hot seats and Q&A. And for the rest of you, thank you for an amazing day. Thank you for, honest and truly, this is my favorite event. This is our 13th big event over the last decade. This is my favorite one, the most amazing energy, the most amazing comments, the most engaged people. I just want to say thank you. Let's knock it out of the park. Let's live into our full potential. Let's be bold enough to be optimistic and crush it. We'll see you tomorrow. Remember, if you want to play with Gigi, go to Thrive 2025 VIP. Either way, we'll see you bright and early tomorrow. Have a great night. VIPs, we'll see you in 10.